mission, a mission. I'm trying to get it right. Transition, changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission, trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life. Making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Turn a mission, a mission. I'm on a mission, on a mission. I'm trying to get it right. Changing the way that I see life. Transition in my life. On a mission, on a mission, on a mission.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Alchemizing Energy. I have a confession to make. I am a people pleaser, and I've been one for a very long time. And it took me some time to like recognize that that's what my issue was. People pleasing. And I never exactly understood what a people pleaser was. I didn't know what a people pleaser was. I just thought that that God had ordained me with a certain amount of things. And so therefore I want to help people, and I've always helped people to the detriment of myself. Sometimes, I've had apartments, I've had houses. I mean, I've had houses, right? And then people would come to me and need a place to go. And I'd be like, yeah, you can come. And this has been over, I would say like almost like ever since I like started being back on my own, since like 2013. Every time I would get a house, I've always had people that would come, and if they needed help, they needed something, I would be like, sure, you can come stay here, And I've gone through different groups of people that have stayed with me over time, and it's always ended up in some kind of thing happening and whatever. It never ends up good, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking I'm helping the person. Okay, this person comes to me for help, and I'm thinking that before I actually got initiated, and I got to give a shout out to E5. I pretty much got told once I got initiated is to stop that. I'm saying? No, you can't. No, nobody. And actually, in my ETA, I got told, listen, nobody can stay with you because period. Don't know nobody's allowed to stay with you because you doing too much. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, God is giving me so much, right? Because I've overcome certain things. Then now I should be giving back. And I remember even as a young child wanting to be a philanthropist and wanting to be a giver. But there's a difference between giving and giving too much. And so that's what today's conversation is going to be about. Now, I ran across this young lady here. She has a really good talk about how to be respected as a woman, set boundaries, stop people pleasing, and also the feminine energy. And part of being a woman, is you're kind of expected to give of yourself. And sometimes you're expected to give in abundance, way more than you get back. And you end up with a empty plate. And I had a very hard time telling people no. It was very difficult. I felt guilty. I had a certain level of guilt if someone asked me for something, I say no. Because I felt like I was responsible for them in some way. And there's like a little bit of an ego that's involved with that, by me feeling like I'm the person saving this person, and that God is going to bless me because I say that's kind of an egotistical thing to do. You know what I'm saying? In your mind, you think that you're helping that person, but really you're setting them back because you're taking away from their opportunity to like do it on their own, and they will not appreciate it. They won't appreciate that. In your mind, you're doing something that's worthy of praise, but really in the whole outcome of things, God put them into their position. There's a reason why they're in that position, and it's really their cross to bear. And then when you step in, sometimes calling yourself trying to help out and do this and do that, you're making them miss the lesson that they're supposed to get. And that's pretty much what this whole live is really about, and what I wanted to discuss. It's an open panel, you guys. Please feel free to chime in if you want to come up. I'm going to put the link down as I'm playing this video. If anybody wants to talk about this, I'm going to be pausing it momentarily to discuss certain anecdotes of issues. And I really want to get this young lady on my platform so we can really discuss this even further, because she really has some really good insights on being respected, you know? So let's get into it.
Is someone who used to cry very easily in situations like this because I was so pissed off. I know it's hard to get your emotions in check. Also, important, time passing does not equate to an apology. If you think that people pleasing shows that you have a big heart, you are wrong. Today, we're going to be diving into the uncomfortable truths about people pleasing and how they're connected to our childhood, the way that we were programmed to believe and think about ourselves in relationships, romantic partnerships, friendships, any connection that we have with people. People pleasing has a multitude of reasons, but I feel like at their core, one of them is an obsession with external validation from other people and the inability to see the value that we bring to any situation, or the ability to give ourselves credit or give ourselves permission to exist in the way that we want to. It also stems from a lack of self-trust, self-worth, your beliefs about who you are as a person. And when we don't have a solid foundation of who we are or why we exist in the world the way that we do, we can tend to attach our self-worth or what we believe about ourselves.
Bro, listen, cookie dough. Oh my gosh. Like lately, I'm not gonna lie. Once I gave that up and I stopped trying to care about like if I'm saying the right thing or don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, I have been cussing more people out. I have been kind of going in on people a little bit. Like I remember like the other day I was on a panel and the person just kept like digging at me and digging at me. And now my people pleasing aspect would never said nothing. I probably would have just been like, okay, well, okay, well, I need to be quiet. But honey, I went ballistic. You know what I'm saying? And I felt so good. Now, of course, we're not supposed to continue to have to be going in on people and just start cussing everybody out, raising our own blood pressure, trying to go off on people. But sometimes when you have held it in and have never said nothing and always just like trying to like cater to other people all the time, you don't never say nothing about what they doing. They just cussing you out, going in on you all the time. You begin to have like this whole like it'll begin to affect your life. You'll start to get sick and all type of stuff. And I was getting sick. I was getting depressed because I wasn't like expressing myself. I was just sitting up there just taking it. And finally, lately, I have been like, man, fuck all, excuse my language, bump all that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't fixing to talk to me like that. And the more I spoke out, the more I felt better. Because there's a such a thing of like just you have to be able to speak out. And sometimes we are trying to be so damn perfect that we don't even because we don't want to be seen a certain way. So we won't say nothing. And people will be going in on us. You know what I'm saying? We'll be like, okay, because we don't want to say that, because we know that if we really unleash what we're really thinking, it will mess their whole world up. Like, bro, if you really knew what I'm thinking right now, if you really know what's in the back of my mind, you know. But you know what? Sometimes people need to be cussed out. Some people need that. And I've noticed is that when I do cuss people out, they're like, it's almost like they actually get a kick out. Like, okay, well, and then they leave you the hell alone. That's the one thing I noticed. They will leave you alone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so let's go more into this. This is really interesting to me. And then I'm going to give you some other tools as we go along with this as well. Let's go.
We're looking for clues in our environment from other people. And depending on who you're people pleasing for or who you're attaching your self-worth to, if that person is toxic or narcissistic or they like to use people like you, what ends up happening is we're made to feel less than in every situation we interact with these people. We can feel drained. We can feel like our life is not going in the way that we want it to. We can feel stagnant energetically, emotionally, financially, physically. And because we are wired for connection, it is not abnormal to want to make your partner happy or your friends happy. But because we can sense energy, humans literally have that ability to feel what someone else is feeling, even if it's communicated non-verbally. If someone is sensing that you're going to contort yourself in order to make them happy, they will do everything in their power to make sure that you stay in that position. This is why sometimes when you notice that you're ready to stop people pleasing or you want to distance yourself from certain people, they don't want to allow you to separate from the relationship. And again, this is not gender specific, so you can have friends who are like this, you can have romantic partnerships like this, or you can have this same environment at your workplace. People pleasing has a few different tendrils, right? So you can have people who please you because they really genuinely care about you and they just want to see you happy. And I still say, even if you're one of those people, you're still giving up something of yourself in a relationship where we're talking about where it's not reciprocated, where it's not balanced, right? It's toxic. Or you can have people who people please as a form of manipulation and control. It's a way of having something over you. So I'm not talking about that. We're talking about people who are pleasing other people from a genuine place, from an honest, I love you and I care about you, but it's not benefiting you. It's not healthy for you to have that kind of attachment. And when you find that you're trying to do everything for your partner or your friends and you want them to like you, but you don't receive the things that you want, the respect or the love or the appreciation, even though you're doing everything for them, it could be because they're not able to reciprocate in that way. They don't want to reciprocate in that way, or they like the imbalance of your relationship. And one of the ugly
The most really crazy thing that happened to me is when I had a Jaguar, at my house, and I was always very like accommodating to her. And the more nicer I was to her, the more I accommodated to her, the more she was mean and rude to me. And I didn't understand that. And one time I said, why are you having an issue? Like, what's wrong? She says, well, I don't understand why you want everybody to like you so much. And that was a turning point. That was a turning point because I never really understood that that's what I was doing. That I would want people to like me so much that I would be overdoing stuff, doing too much, wanting to be liked. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I want to give it up to her that she actually she helped me to realize about that aspect. Like God, whatever spoke to her at that moment, I ain't gonna give her all the credit in the world. But whatever spoke to her, whatever ancestor came out of her in that moment and spoke to me and said that, I have been from that point on self-evaluating. Like, okay, am I like, what do you mean? I want people to like me too much. I never even thought that I was even trying to get people to like me. I just was just being myself, what I thought was myself, right? I'm thinking I'm being nice. That's what friends are for. Hey, I want to be the friend that people could rely on. That you need something, you call me. Why do I want to be that person? Why did I want to be that person? And what she's going to say is it really goes back to some childhood trauma, but let's go.
Truths about people pleasing is that people who do this, who give and give and give, they're left drained, and a lot of times they can be left with a lot of resentment because you keep doing for other people and then it's not reciprocated. You're not getting what you want from that relationship. It's not an equally balanced relationship. It's not an honest exchange. The antidote for this is self-care. It's connecting to yourself. It's self-love. It's knowing yourself. And it's not the face masks or the clothes or the physical things that you're doing. It's the deep inner work. It's the honest conversations that you're having with yourself on why you people please, why you think a relationship needs to have that at its core. Also, you can find that people who people please, who are honest with themselves, they actually don't think the other person should be people pleasing. They don't believe that the other person should have to sacrifice. They can get uncomfortable if someone is doing too much for them, but they're okay with giving of themselves. And
do you know how difficult it is for me to receive compliments? I've had the hard. If someone says, "Oh, you're," da, 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 I feel almost like cringed out, like, you know what I'm saying? There's been times when if I'm talking negatively about myself, people say, "Don't do that," and then I feel like, don't tell me that. Something within me is like, no, I want to just talk negatively about myself. People be trying to be giving to me, but I'm like, I got a wall up. Like, no, don't give nothing to me. I'll give it to you, but don't give nothing to me. Like, I've even had guys, like, men. I've never gotten flowers from. I've always been the one given to the dudes. You know what I'm saying? Any relationship I've always, and maybe it's a method of trying to control the situation, also to not be hurt. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that are involved with that, because you feel like, okay, if I'm the one giving, I don't have to be let down. You know what I'm saying? So that's another like psychological thing that goes into this. I wonder if I hope she's gonna like touch on this. I haven't seen this whole video, but she's hitting on it. Let's go.
A recovered people pleaser. I understand what that feels like. I understand the mentality of it, and I also know the psychology behind it. So this is not to judge you, it's to understand ourselves with love so that we can shift, so we can decide who we want to be, and that healthier version of ourselves can show up more often, and we can check the people pleasing at the door before it starts. So if people pleasing is so detrimental to our mental health, our physical health, our financial health, our emotional health, why do we keep doing it? Why is it the default mode? Why is it so normal? A lot of this stuff stems from our childhood. We were programmed to believe this way. We were programmed to see this as normal. Your family dynamics, the way that your parents interacted with each other, the way your siblings interacted with you and your parents, that family dynamic, that initial introduction to social settings and social connections is what we deem as normal. This is
So let's get into this. So my mother and my father used to always fight each other. You know, I was brought up like I'd be 8 years old in my room, and my mom would be up there raising hell with my father. Like they'd be up in there getting it in. Let's be beating me. No, and I always, for some reason, would be like, "Mom, why don't you just calm down and be nice?" Whatever. And so in my mind, I believe is that I began to develop, well, maybe if she were more nicer, they wouldn't be arguing. That's where I believe is the genesis of the people pleasing aspect. Maybe if she wasn't arguing with this person, maybe if she was being nice to him, but then I found out that he was a crackhead and she was trying to like stop him from like leaving the house with the money later on in life, right? I'm thinking my mom is the issue, but he been the issue the whole time. So sometimes perspective, right? Me as a child, I'm like thinking my mom is being too aggressive. Why is she doing this? Why does she keep arguing with daddy? She needs to be more nicer. I'm gonna be nice when I'm gonna be more nicer when I grow up. I'm not gonna be arguing with everybody, and I'm gonna be nice and kind and giving. And I made a pact with myself. I'm not gonna be this way, you know. But now I see why my mom was raising hell. Why she had a razor blade in her damn thing. Go here. We would go to Thanksgiving dinners, huh? She'd be cussing everybody out. And now I see why. Fuck these people. They must have did something to my mama to make her trip out like that. You know what I'm saying? But before I'd be like, man, Mom, we can't go nowhere. You up here tripping out on everybody. And that was like what kind of shaped my personality as time went on. It made me feel like, we can't go nowhere. You always going getting it in. Man, my mom was about 4'9" and a ball of fire. You hear me? She would be cussing everybody. I like you, man. But what you gonna say to me, honey? Whip out the switchblade, about to cut you and everything. And I said, man, my mom is too much. Why is she like this? Now I see. Hey, I'm about to put a switchblade in my sock right now. You know what I'm saying? I need to find where her switchblade was, because now I see why. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go that far with it, but sometimes we have to understand like that these things, these patterns, it dictates, especially with our children, how they see life. They don't understand exactly what you're going through. They just see things through their lens, and they might not understand that, hey, this he just took my check and trying to leave the house. I'm not down for that. And now they rumbling. Only thing you know is that they're just arguing and rumbling. She won't let him leave the house. You don't know why. You know what I'm saying?
is why you find people who people please, but you also find people who want people pleasers, people who go out and they actually seek, they identify out loud that they want someone who provides for them. And again, this is not gender specific. Sometimes we're thinking it's only going to be women, but there are men who openly, honestly say they want a woman who pays for everything. They may not tell you that, but they are saying it to other people. And then they're trying to sort of manipulate and mold you into being that person who does the things that they desire. Sometimes we kind of glamorize or we constantly talk about daddy issues, and then we ignore or dismiss the very real impacts that our mothers can have on our self-image, the way that we navigate relationships, the way that we believe in ourselves and what we believe women should be doing and how women should show up. One of the easiest ways to dissect how you view people pleasing relationships or why you show up in relationships the way that you do is to think back on the advice that your mother or women in your life gave you. I know for myself, my mom gave me
Horrible advice. Horrible advice. Listen, I remember a little boy bought me like a ring or something like that. I was in high school, and he brought, it was a necklace with a ring on it. And my brother was like, "Who got you this?" And I'm like, "Oh, there's a boy in school, whatever." I was like about 14 years old, freshman. He said, "No, you gotta no, give that back. Don't accept gifts off of boys. Don't accept nothing off of no man. There's always something gonna be. They're gonna always want something from you." And then my aunties told me, "Listen, don't get married till you turn 30. Don't have children till you turn 30. Don't do focus on yourself and build yourself up." And I actually literally did everything that they told me. I never accepted gifts from off men. And I literally didn't have my first child until I was 30. You know what I'm saying? And I was a young, impressionable. You people be careful what you tell your kids, because I wish I would have had my. Everybody else was having their kids in their 20s, and now they're like empty nesters. They're traveling. I done had my kids in my 30s and 40s, and now I'm like still raising kids. Now I'm not mad about. I love my children. God is great. I don't even know if I probably would have been as good of a mother because I was wild as hell in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that would have evened me out. Who knows? If I probably would have been like less doing all the wild stuff and just getting on my feet and doing what I do as a mother. But it is interesting how like getting the advice of your parents, listen to what they're saying, can shape who you are. So some of this thing is also you have to probably deprogram yourself from like those programs and that generational curse. Because when people talk about generational curses, it really is a matter of what you've seen your parents go through, you doing the same thing, repeating what they went through, and you end up doing the same damn thing. Apple's not falling far from the tree. It's not DNA. It's like what you see. And I can even go even deeper. My mom was raped when she was younger, and and my grandmother, she was raped by a friend, and the way it was back then, she was disowned by the family, right? So she goes off and has to move out of town, right? So that made her a certain way towards raising her kids and this, that, the other, and this, that, the other, right? So bottom line is that then that there's so when people talk about generational curses, it's a matter of, okay, something must have happened to grandma to where she was acting like this when her child went through something, and then my mom, something happens to her, and so she gets sent out of town. So then when something happened to me as a child, she responds a certain way. So that's where these generational curses, and now it makes me like, oh, I'm not letting my kids leave the house. And that's so it gets more and more crazier as time goes on. And I believe that's really what generational curses are, is that, people over time are either repeating the same cycle of going through the same abuse, or they become so stringent and so like almost hoarding like that, and become like almost like I don't know, I can't even describe, to where you're like, no, you can't go nowhere. Now you done been overbearing over your children, and then they end up going out and having the same thing because now you're being like a prison guard over your children. Can't go nowhere, can't go over nobody, can't do this, can't do that, and then they end up going out and doing it anyway, right? Because I was kind of raised very strict, couldn't have friends, couldn't go to the party, couldn't do nothing. And so when I turned 20, I was turned up. So be careful about, even in situations with generational curses, and how our parents and our grandparents, how they dealt with each other, dictate our lives. So it's a lot of deep programming that has to be done. Let's go.
Horrendous advice. about men specifically and acted as if the most toxic relationship I have ever been in, my mom was the one who told me that all men are like this, and my father was not like this. And so that's horrendous advice. I've talked to plenty of women who will say that their mothers are the reasons they believed they should show up in the way that they did. And again, this is not to like drudge up all of the traumas and the sadness in our life to sit there. It's so that we understand it. I know for me, knowing where something came from, knowing how my brain works, knowing what helps me navigate emotional spaces with more clarity helps me be intentional about the way that I show up in the world. So you want to do the same thing, even if it's uncomfortable for you to have this conversation with yourself about why and where you got these ideas. It will allow you to mentally shift and have more clarity about why you're shifting. And women, we're like any other human, there is such a spectrum of growth in your teenage years, your young adult years, into your, as you get more grown. There's so many things that you're shifting in your life and in the way that you want to show up. But if you're not willing to unpack certain things, you'll carry them with you in every stage of your growth. And you'll always feel like something is kind of tethering you back to old scenarios, or you can't seem to shift this particular event in your life, or you always find men who are like this, or you're always seeking friends who are like this. And a lot of times, because of what our parents have deemed as normal, we go out and find and mirror the same things. And so a lot of stuff is running on autopilot, and being able to unpack what's in your subconscious mind will allow you to change the way that you think and the way that you accept certain behaviors and set certain boundaries with people. People pleasing behaviors doesn't have to just be in romantic relationships. One of the relationships in which I was that person for my friend, this woman was someone who was constantly asking me for money and wanted me to show up for her in a way that really a partner should, or her parents should be. And I struggled in that relationship with, one, identifying that I'm being the person who's constantly trying to make her happy. I also failed to see the connection between her and my mother when I was younger. Now, as an adult or more grown, I can see it. I struggled with telling her no. I struggled with identifying the manipulation real time. But one thing that really helped me shift in that relationship was focusing on how I felt when I talked to her, focusing on how I felt after I talked to her, focusing on the imbalance in the relationship. Like, it's confusing. And this is one of the hardest things about people pleasing, is that it really does come with this kind of fog, this mental fog of, why does this not feel good in TV shows? The unhealthy relationships are so ridiculously obvious that we're all yelling at the TV trying to figure out why this person stays, or why they can't see them for who they are. But in real life, it's not that simple, and it's a lot more complex. The emotional entanglement, the conversations are less blatant, they're more subtle. So, for example, for myself, when I used to struggle with not picking up the phone from people, I had to start realizing that when they text me, I could say no. I felt safer saying no in the text message, because on the phone, they're trying to cry, they're trying to give me these sob stories, they're trying to change the inflection of their voice to sound more sad and pathetic. And so I just started saying, my boundary is that I'm not picking up the phone. My boundary is that if you have something of importance to tell me, you can text it to me. So you want to start shifting in ways that feel comfortable in your body. They don't have to be flat out, absolutely not from the very beginning, because realistically, that's going to be hard to go from people pleasing to setting a boundary like that will be difficult. Now, some relationships aren't. And this is another thing that helped me. Strangers, I was really easy. Like, it was really easy for me to do that. Relationships in which men were like, I was like, absolutely not. That was easy for me. You want to start where it's easy and learn to trust yourself. And
there was times with people where, man, I've had people, man, that's crazy, because what she's saying is so true. The not being able to say no. There's times when I've said no, but then I go back and be like, something will convict me in my thought and say, okay, well, I'll just do it. Okay, here. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell them no and I'll still do it. You know, that's another thing. You'll get the gumption to say no, but then you'll still end up like still doing it because you'll start to feel guilt. There's like a guilt that comes along with saying no. You know what I'm saying? That's the hardest thing to get over is not being able to like saying no and then that whole guilt that comes and then getting like waiting long enough for that guilt to subside and just being able to let your no be your no, your yes be your yes, your no be your no. So let's go.
Be honest with yourself that you can see that you don't deserve it here, but you're missing the mark over here. And that friendship that I had, it ended because I realized that I'm giving more of myself more honestly to someone who is not willing to give to themselves, but more importantly, has always felt jealousy towards me. It was always competitive towards me. So the fabric of that relationship was not even honest or beautiful anyway. So I wasn't losing anything of value by disconnecting with this person. And more
And you know what was crazy is that it took me so long to figure out that these people were actually jealous of me the whole time, or not jealous, but envy, like envy of a person to the point where they really hate you, but they want something. They still need things from you, so they'll just stick around long enough to get it. You know what I'm saying? That's the hard part. Is if a person really don't even like you that much, but they'll be cool with you just enough so you could do what they need you to do because they need it from you. You know what I'm saying? That part is the part that kind of broke my heart. And it took me a long time to actually get over that. Is that there's people out here that will be nice enough and be kind to you just to get what they want out of you. And really at the end, they ripped that dang on mask on and was off. And it's like, oh my God, one person, it was 13 years. I mean, was the godparents to my children and everything like that. But then when it really came down to it, they turned around and it was like, man, it was like like they was dealing with the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine being friends with a person for that long time? I mean, I done bought cars for this person and everything like that. You know, they was supposed to pay me back, never did. Well, I'm gonna pay you back and this, that, the other. Oh, I'll put you out, but I put the down payment on their car. They end up getting the same exact car as me. It didn't register. Like, why is she getting the same exact car as me? I'm thinking, okay, we just being besties, right? We besties, we got the same car. I'm not thinking that. I don't know. I wasn't thinking right, you know? And so I had to like really evaluate my friendships, you know. And it took me 13 years of being friends with this person and other people, you know. But I'm gonna also give it up to, like I said, like my spiritual growth also helps to deal with this stuff because this really is sometimes it's a lot of spiritual attacks going on, you know, with people around you, and you don't even pick up on it. If you're not like really spiritual in your walk and you're just kind of like living life, you won't pick up on like these spiritual attacks where a person could be just sitting up there trying to I don't know, just trying to like just almost like destiny swap with you. So let's go.
more importantly, who I had to be when I was around them was a shrunken version of myself. This is also something that helps us shift out of people pleasing is what kind of person are you in that relationship? Are you able to show up fully as yourself, or do you feel like you're not allowed to be the fullest honest version of yourself because they don't like the way that you show up? Like I've said this before in other videos. My mom used to make me feel like I couldn't have my hair done, my nails done, my makeup, a nice outfit. It was almost like you had to pick one. You couldn't show up and be everything all at once. Now, I have said this in my Healing from Mother Wounds video. I don't have resentment towards my mother, but I'm honest with myself because there's just things you can't unsee. Like when you start to heal and you're honest with yourself on that healing journey, you can't go back. You can't undo what has been done. And as a mother myself, and I have 4 children, and one of my kids is in that kind of preteen, about to be a teenager this year. There are just things I would never in my life say to my daughter, period. One, my kids in general, but especially my daughters, because I know how fragile their self image is and what a mother and daughter relationship, how valuable that is, because there are studies about the impact that a mother has specifically on her daughters versus her sons, and what kind of woman or how that young lady navigates life based on their relationship with their mother. So there's just
Now there's a lot of mother wounds out here. There's a lot of people that's going through a mother wound to where maybe, there was a lot of times mothers can be very envy of their daughters, They're getting older, they see their daughter like budding, becoming beautiful. They look like they used to look, the mom might have gained a lot of weight and they begin to hate their own child. So we have to really deal with our mother wounds. We have to deal with the fact that our moms probably were not didn't really might not have really even cared for us. They might have chose a man over us, whatever. And so that was a really big thing back in the time. I don't know if it's still going on as much now. I do see some videos where you have moms. I think it's gotten worse now because the moms are having children younger, and so they look just as like good as the daughters, and some of them are like actually sleeping with the daughter's boyfriend. They're in competition with their own offspring. So we have to really deal with our issues.
things that are inexcusable about what my mother did or said to me. But I understand. It's just, I've always said this for myself, is that you can have your opinion and you can live the way that you want to, and you can have the traumas that you have, but not on my time. There are some people where my mental health, my emotional health, my financial health is more important to me. And these are my boundaries. And again, the more you heal, the more you become more grounded and solid in who you are. You don't actually have to express your boundaries to people. You don't have to tell people what you think of them. You show it energetically, who you are. You exude that confidence, that alignment, and those people can feel it. Let's say you're trying to disconnect from people pleasing with your mother. Let's say that it's a mother figure or someone in your family. This is also why I say being put together, like healing that part of yourself that wants to dress up, be more feminine. For some of us, it is not just like, oh, so stereotypical to want to be pretty. Like, oh, you just always want to put yourself together. For some of us, that's an act of rebellion. Putting yourself together, loving yourself is an act of rebellion because you were not encouraged to be that person. So if you're trying to disconnect from people pleasing or trying to earn more respect and be less polite in relationships with family, you can start small, like I did, where you're just not picking up the phone as much, or you are establishing, I'm not answering the phone from you people, I'm not
Boundaries.
texting back immediately. Like the toxicity that I experienced, having conversations with these people wasn't ever an option. If they did something and I didn't appreciate it, for example, my mom, I would say to her, I don't want to hear about these people. You keep talking to me about these specific individuals that I don't like, and I don't want to hear it, right? She would acknowledge that and not talk about them, but then talk about somebody else who would piss me off. So it's this kind of like constant dancing around. So it's not just this idea of sharing your boundary with somebody. Sometimes you have to say to yourself, I'm not even going to waste my own time. I'm not going to waste my time with this situation. So you really want to decide who is worth wasting your time. Every situation that you're in, you are expending energy. You are connecting with people, and energy is currency. And who do you want to give your energetic currency to? It has to be your choice. It cannot be that these people are deciding. This is where people pleasing, it shifts from having a normal connection with someone to now somebody disrespecting your boundaries, because you're giving of yourself even when you don't want to. You are sharing your time with someone even when you don't want to. Okay, so this specific tip is for my younger women who are kind of like navigating their early 20s or your 20s in general. I mean, you can apply this at any point in your life, but specifically, if you are in a stage, even if you were older, but you had just gotten out of a relationship and now you're kind of like trying to find yourself again, this advice would work for you. Date yourself. You want to literally know yourself so well that anytime anyone comes along, and again, this is not gender specific and not specific to just relationships, romantic relationships, any kind of connection, you want to know yourself so well.
Man, listen, a lot of like older women are like kind of like doing this right now anyway. But it's so important to like just really focus on yourself, self healing, self care. Because some people are entering into relationships and they have no business being in any relationship with anybody. And what they end up doing is they end up damaging the other person because they're damaged. They end up in this toxic cycle. So yeah, get to know yourself, get yourself to where you really want to be, and then you'll attract the exact person that you really want to be. You don't want to be in relationship with a person and you're a half of a person. You're toxic. You haven't done the work. Do the work first. Get yourself together. Get yourself to a point. Like, I've had guys contacting me wanting to like, but I know I'm not ready. And I'm old as hell. I'm not that old, but I'm 46. By now I should be married and this, that, the other. But if I would be in any relationship I've had at any of these times when I'm like in this kind of toxic thing cycle have ended horribly. So what is the point of me jumping, knowing that I'm not all the way together, jumping into a relationship, and then now I got this like another person with their toxicness because I'm attracting toxicity. And so I'm toxic, they're toxic, we're both trying to come together, and now we're just toxic. Because I'm attracting toxicity, I'm toxic. We can't even, what are we doing? So before you think about a relationship, yes, make sure that you got your stuff together. Make sure you're in your right mind. Make sure that you're eating the right things. You're doing things. You're moving toward the person that you're trying to be. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll find a person that's either there or on the same path as you. Like attracts like,
That you're not overextending or giving more of yourself in order to keep somebody around. You don't want to be in a place where you're stressed or psychologically not in your own body because you're just coming out of something traumatic or you're constantly on the go. That a person who comes into your life can determine what direction you go in and how you show up in the relationship with them. So, dating yourself means literally going on dates. This is something I used to do when I was younger. And even now, like, I don't mind going places by myself, but go to the park, go to a lunch date, go out for drinks by yourself. Like, obviously, don't drink and drive. Go to a cooking class, do, like a pottery making something, there's like running clubs. There's so many things that you can do, especially if you're trying to stretch outside of what is normal for your environment, for your culture.
Now I'm not gonna lie. I have been like in a cycle of isolation lately. I haven't gone nowhere. I haven't really done nothing. That's a good point here. Don't necessarily isolate yourself like I've done. You know what I'm saying? Because that could be toxic too. Like definitely get out. Because once what caused me to have to try to like think about getting out and talking to other people is going my job. I stopped being able to work remotely and I started to have jobs that were not really in my field. Because my field I can work remote. But I like kind of took on a weird job to where I have to communicate with other people, and really what you see what's going on out here and people that's out here, you realize like it's more going on than just what's going on the internet, what's going on this, that, the other, hey, what's up the word, what's up? It's more going on in this world, so yes, get out. Don't be cooped up in the house sitting like me. Don't be like me, y'all. Because I am happy with myself. I can be very happy with myself. However, you do have to like kind of go out, meet people, see what the world's like, treat yourself, do different things for yourself. Because yes, be you. Everyone has their own destiny. Exactly. Go out. Don't like just be cooped up, and be antisocial. Because I've been through you might want to do that for a little bit, but I think I've done it for like too long, like about 3-4 years of just being completely like I'm not going out. I want to be bothered with nobody, whatever. So I have to like work on that. So let's go more into what she's saying. Let's go.
Or for your age group and your friends aren't really into this, but you might be. Explore new hobbies and interests that you have by yourself, even if other people aren't willing to go with you. Because again, we're developing self trust, we're learning to connect with ourselves, and we're taking all of that energy that we're giving to other people, that externalized energy, we're bringing it back within ourselves. So as much as like when you meet
Honey,
somebody,
I fool around and invite some friends, end up paying everybody way. Hey, I want to go to the club. Oh, okay. I ain't got no money right now. Well, come on. And I'm paying their way, paying for their drinks. So I done paid. I came there one, with like $60 for my like drinks, and now I'm paying your drinks. Now it's 60 more. I leave the club. I done spent $120 to get you in, pay for your, So you have to like watch out with that type of stuff too. That's why she said it's good to like just go out on your own. Now be careful. You know what I'm saying? Don't drink and drive. Don't be out there drinking, getting drunk by yourself, and be out there vulnerable. But yeah, treat yourself. Go find some things to do to express yourself and to like, come into who you are.
people pleasing causes us to be like, I want to know everything about you. I want to make you feel happy. I want to make sure that I show up in the way that makes you feel good. Now, that's not a bad thing, right? These are gifts. This is love that you give to people that really makes people feel seen. But when we're not conscious of how and when we should give that to people, we'll just be giving it out to the world, to the random people that we meet at Starbucks, or every single person that we meet at.
So the conversation is about people pleasing. The objective is because I'm a people pleaser. I'm no longer a people pleaser. I'm actually a recovering people pleaser, and we're talking about the things that like like the things in our past that make us a people pleaser, and then how to get away from that type of behavior. Because a lot of this stuff is ingrained in us from childhood. So and it's based on things that have happened in our childhood make us actually act in a certain way to where we're overly giving, overly doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, can I borrow a buck, $1? Well, I'll give you 10. You know what I'm saying? Do you need 10? No, I asked you for $1. You know what I'm saying? Or hey, I got $1, you know what I'm saying? You want 75 cents and I'll give you the whole dollar and I ain't got nothing now. That type of stuff that happens on with people pleasing mentality, people pleasing thinking is that you will sacrifice yourself to help others. And really a lot of times they don't even appreciate that anyways. They're like, okay, well, they either feel entitled to it or they're just used to you doing it. So therefore they don't even feel like it's any skin off your back. Then you might be starving for the rest of the you might be, oh, I was going to use that dollar to buy me a hot dog and I just gave it to you and now I'm over here, but I'll make it through. And that's the type of like stuff that I have done in the past. I will give somebody my last and I'm over here like, well, I'll make it through. Don't do that. I'm literally coaching my wife on this right now. She's not paying me, but she is a people pleaser. She often associates her others' happiness for her own. Yes, and that what? Sometimes it's good to have a good mate. To actually, it happens a lot with women. Because of the things that happen to us with our mothers and how we're taught. So it's a big thing with women. I don't know if there's a lot. I think men they'll probably do it too, but I don't know if it's as much. I don't know. There might be. I gotta do some research onto the stats of people pleasing in men versus women, but I believe that women tend to be more sacrificing because we're more nurturers, right? So we tend to like, oh, okay, the friend come along, and I can only imagine you as a husband, right? The friend come, can you help me do this, that, the other, and your wife is taking money out of y'all account trying to help this other person, and you like, wait, what happened to the money that was in the account? Well, so and so needed da 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 da. Now you up there, now y'all argue. You know what I'm saying? Now y'all up here in an argument
at our job, instead of saying it's precious and I want to make sure that the people who see that honest side of me is people who love me and show up and show me the honest side of themselves. This is often really overlooked, but you can't have a healthy relationship with other people until you first have a healthy relationship with yourself. And sometimes people want to argue with this and say, well, I've given to other people even when I don't love myself. The truth is, how can you say that's healthy? How can you say that that's a good way of living where you're giving more of yourself to other people than you're willing to give to yourself? That still stems from a lack of love for yourself. If you don't think you're worthy of loving yourself the way that you love other people, that's not helping you. And this was, again, something I had to say to myself. This was an honest conversation I had to have with myself. If it's not helping me, it's harming me. So even though I love showing up for people in a way that's giving, 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 am I draining all of my energy in order?
And draining. And you know what? It was interesting. Like online, people would see my behavior, right? And they'd be cussing me out online. And I'll be like, why are these people being so mean to me? Why are they being so mean to me? But it's like, Mo, they recognize that people pleasing BS. And there is a certain level of ego that goes along with it. It's not just that you're just so giving and that's bullshit. There is a certain like payoff to that. Like you feel like a dopamine rush for I gave to this person. You know what I'm saying? And so, I feel like I'm empowered by giving. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, like you'll in your mind be like, oh, okay, well, then I feel like, well, what I used to tell me is that, well, I give to other people, God will bless me with more. And that has happened. However, the problem is that so God blesses you, but then that person will not be appreciative of what you gave of them, even though you received the blessing from God or whatever. But then that person will turn around and they don't appreciate what you gave to them. And so now you feel resentment towards that person where if you initially was doing it because of God and because of what you thought, you wouldn't be resentful. Like, you would say, you know what, hey, I gave out of my heart and that's it. But there is a certain level of resentment when that person does not appreciate what you have put out for them. So don't do that to begin with, and you don't have to worry about it. Don't overly give. There we go.
Order to show up for somebody else in a way that they didn't even ask me to show up for them. This is another thing where it stems from our childhood, because if you have parents who what you did was never good enough, or how you showed up was never okay, your quirkiness, the whole personality that you displayed was shamed and just weird and not okay, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to reach for a bar that keeps moving upwards. It's never enough. So, can you see how that is at the base of a people pleasing relationship? Like the one in which it's toxic, the one in which you're giving too much of yourself, it's never enough. These people are constantly pushing the bar back. And unfortunately, when we're talking about friendships in which people pleasing is at its core, some of the most dangerous women that I have ever experienced were women who were not at peace within themselves, and they projected that onto other people and literally went out of their way to try to destroy my entire life. And these were not women I was directly connected to. These were not women that I was harming. These were not women that I was talking to or knew on any kind of level. So this is why I say, like, the relationship you have with yourself is going to be reflected in how you treat other people. And even if you are treating people better than you're treating yourself, that still is saying something about how you feel about yourself. And oftentimes women have this desire to fix men, to heal men, to make men feel better. I will say though, people pleasing is not gender specific. You can have men who do this as well, but I'm talking to women because this is my audience. But when women have this desire to fix men, not every man has to be someone that A, you fix, or B, you date. Like, you do not need to be that man's therapist in order for you to feel sorry for him or want better for him. You don't.
All truistic, exactly. So let me tell you this. Let me tell you a story. I was dating a guy. He was actually the father of my child who passed away. Now he was homeless when I met him, and I don't know why I took this guy out the shelter and tried to clean him up and try to help him out and whatever. I found out later that this guy had all these kids and everything like that, and I actually brought the kids into my house and tried to like help him be a better father. Even gave him a car. Okay, I had gotten a car. He, of course, then I found out he was on drugs. He took both of my cars. I had 2 cars. God had blessed me with 2 cars. I gave both of my cars to this guy. I did. And I'm embarrassed to say that. I gave both of my cars to this. You know what I'm saying? He convinced me. He gave me a couple dollars, whatever. And you know what he did with them cars? Trashed them. He didn't give a crap about them damn cars. And he still ain't got a car. He back in the homeless shelter right now. I tried to build him up. He ended up cheating on me. You know what I'm saying? Getting another woman pregnant. And then I got like 2 or 3 more kids. But back then, honey, I was trying to like be the cap and save a man. You know, I'm saving him. He's a good guy. If he only had a person behind him, in my mind, I thought if he only had a person to help him to get on his feet, that he would be better, right? At the homeless shelter. But I've known him for a long time. I had known him for a long time, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll let you stay here. You get a job. You get yourself. He never got a job. He ended up back on drugs, taking my car down to the dope house. Like at one point, he was going down there, and some crackheads took my damn license plate off my car and everything. I'm still paying for that. That level. And then when he left, he had to make up some weird reason, and like I had did something to him. I was cheating on him, but he was cheating on me, right? But the bottom line is that I never cheated on him. I was actually taking care of his kids. He would go get his kids, drop them off, then leave and go to the crack house. Or not the crack house, whatever the drug house is down on in wherever, South Dallas somewhere, and be gone for days when I'm there with his kids. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. But I'm over here trying to help him be a better father. I don't know what made me think I could make him be a better father. If he didn't do it, he's in his 40s. He's 40 years old. He should have been a better father by himself. Who do I think I am? You know what I'm saying? But I have to realize that. Like, dude, who do you think you are? That you can like turn this guy's life around. You know what I'm saying? Make him do better. No, he had to do that on his own. He had to do that on his own.
Have to be someone who dates him. They can just be someone at a distance that you feel sorry for or give advice to when it is applicable. But to put yourself in a position of needing to be with a man and then being the one who fixes him and saves him, I have never seen that work out in which it benefits anybody. And the same thing, vice versa, where men want to be with a woman who they have to fix and save. I've never seen that work out where, especially if both people are not coming from a healthy place, I've never seen it work out where it was beneficial to both parties. We also want to keep in mind that a lot of these tactics, they can apply to healthy relationships, but there's a different set of tactics and tips that you want to apply to unhealthy relationships, right? In a healthy relationship in which you are people pleasing, that other person, when you decide to pull back on that, or you say to them, you know what, I realize I'm giving too much of myself and I need to spend time doing something for myself. Like, for example, we can people please when we're in families where we have children and you are programmed to believe you have to give to your kids. And then there's like a moment you're like, I need to do something for myself. Like this video, I am filming this at like 11 o'clock at night because this is the only time I had available. My kids are asleep. And my husband was like, yeah, we can, instead of having our normal evening of watching our program or whatever, like I think you should prioritize this. In a healthy relationship, your partner or your friend will be okay with you prioritizing yourself just as much as they would like to be prioritized. They will also be okay with you pouring all of that love and attention into yourself. Now, again, you should never be in a space where, you're asking permission, but you get what I'm saying. In an unhealthy relationship, that person literally wants to be the person who dictates how you show up for yourself and act as if they are in control of that. It's up to them to decide whether or not you have that. Also, in healthy relationships, these people have seen you at your most vulnerable, and it's safe for you to be that way. In unhealthy relationships, they may have seen you at your most vulnerable, but it's not safe for you to be that way. And they use that against you. This is why people pleasing or learning healthy dynamics and how to show up in healthy relationship is different from a toxic relationship because the rules are different. There are no rules. They make up the rules on the fly. And it's constantly having you in this emotional roller coaster where you're up and down. This is why I'm saying there's so much confusion in a relationship like this, especially even friendships. It's not just romantic partnerships. What does that look like when you have an unhealthy people pleasing relationship with a friend who is jealous of you? What it looked like for me was this person was never consistent. Like if I wanted to hang out with them, they would make the plans and then drop the plans, disappear for a long time, and then kind of show up because they wanted to get information from me.
Man, I've been through this before. Listen, I have been through this with friend. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Okay, but did you want to come up and give like a statement, Melanie? Welcome to the chat. But when it really, I've had this same situation where I literally had a person. I'm friends with them. I was pregnant at the time, and I had a baby, and they're like, oh yeah, you just had a baby, you need to get out, go out, and this, that, the other, right? Now I wasn't even thinking about going out, so I goes out and I'm drinking, I'm having a good time. It's been a long time since I've been out, 9 months. I've been with the baby for like about 3-4 months, just being, doing my little motherly thing. I go out. Well, no, we're talking mainly about like people pleasing and how it affects people personally. You just give a general statement. That's all. I had a person, so I go out. This person literally didn't even come out. So I'm at the club and I'm by myself, right? So I'm like, okay, I don't know nobody here, so I get to drinking. Do you know I ended up getting a DWI that night because I had drink. People, I don't know if somebody slipped me something. I don't know. Next thing you know, all I know, I woke up and my ass was driving down the street heading toward Fort Worth, and I live in the other direction. You know what I'm saying? But this person was mad at me. Come on out, let's have a good time, whatever. Man, I went out, didn't even show up. And this is the type of stuff she's talking about. Like they'll be like pushing you, let's go out. And then when you get all dolled up, get ready to go out, and then all of a sudden, and now they're nowhere to be found. You didn't. Okay, let's meet here. Yeah, let's meet here. They saying they fixing to meet you there, and then you there, and they don't even come. Like that type of wild stuff. Like
So that
what
they
the
could
hell?
tell other people, like that's what that looked like. It was never consistent. In a healthy friendship, you are connecting with that person. It doesn't have to be all the time, but on a regular basis, whatever that means to you and that other person, you both respect each other's time and energy and the way that you show up. You are giving of yourself, and that person is giving of themselves. But there isn't a need to have your constant guard up because you're trying to protect yourself from this person. So, a quick example.
Right. Afraid that okay, they ask you to go out, they're not even gonna be there. Oh, let's go out. They don't even show up at where they about to go out to. What's the purpose of that? Or hey, something happened to me. Can I borrow this? And then when they say, oh, I'm gonna pay you back, you say, okay, you give them the money, and then next thing you know, you're like, okay, hey, or well, guess what? You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. So it's very important to understand friendships, set boundaries. Like I said, people pleasing can like it is really it's a what is it called? Like it's a when you have a symptom of a bigger problem of things that happened in your past that you are trying overly to accommodate for things that have happened in your childhood to where you were taught a certain way. And so therefore you were probably given very bad advice in your childhood to do certain stuff. And really like the world as it is right now, people are not the way that they were when that advice stood. You know what I'm saying? When you were given this advice, even my daughter, I'll tell my daughter certain stuff and she'll be like, Mom, that's not true. And I'm like, well, yes, it is. But I find out, well, listen, people are different now. People take your kindness for weakness. Exactly. And so, and this has happened to me. Very, very giving, letting people come stay at my house, letting people like run businesses out my house. And then when it really come down to it, it's like, man, they don't care because they're not, it's not their thing. Right. let me use your car. It's not their car, right? So then they bring the car back on E, but you got to go down the road or whatever, and now you got to like fill your tank up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because they done left your car on E. So now you up here like, well, okay, well, I'll just fill my car up, even though that type of like just people just not having any care about how they're leaving you because they're only focused on themselves, which you should be doing to begin with. You should have focused on yourself and said, you know what? Nah, I only got a certain amount of gas. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And not my no has been, I've been saying no a lot more lately. And it's hard. It's very difficult for me to say no to people because I've been saying yes for so long and I've gotten so used to okay, that now when I say no and like the backlash I kind of get from saying no, like some of the arguments I get back and forth, it's kind of tough to keep that no, but I've learned. And you know what? My car stays on. My everything. I ain't gotta worry about things getting like this thing getting moved over here, and I had it over there, like all type of stuff that I'm normally when I save my money, it's still in my pocket, like Davy Crockett. You know what I'm saying? Keep your money in your pocket, like Davy Crockett. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Of someone who was like this was this individual who is connected to our family, and she is a serious emotionally manipulative person. And I always felt like her goal was not to connect, her goal was to control. So when you think about dealing with someone who is like this, the tips that I would give you in handling a person who is more toxic at their core. The first thing is that you want to keep communication at a minimum. You do not want to be in long, drawn out conversations with someone who is toxic or narcissistic or very manipulative, emotionally blackmailing you at every turn. You also want to sound like a dang broken record. You want to keep repeating the same thing. Sometimes narcissistic people, toxic people, they love getting you in these like constant open loop dialogues where it feels like it never ends. And you make a point, like they'll say something and you will itemize everything that they say, you counteract it, and they pick one thing at the end and make a whole random tangent speech about it. You want to have the three.
You want to know if you're in this circular conversation like this when you get to start recording the conversations. Hey, what's up, Mel? You know that you're in a toxic cycle like this with like imagine so a person will list off all this stuff and you'll address all those things and then they focus on that last thing and cycle through that and say that over and over again. But you said this, this is what you said. Right. And you have all this list of stuff that you said, but they only focus on this one thing.
The one thing. Mm-hmm.
You know that this is happening because sometimes you don't even realize it's happening when you get to start recording the conversation so that you can play it back to them. Like, you said this.
Right.
You said that. You said this. And it don't even matter anyway because they're going to still stay on that bullshit. Let's go, Mel. What's up?
Right. What's going on? What's poppin', chat? What's going on, y'all? Y'all please make sure y'all smash that like button. But yeah, I kind of found myself. That's what I said. When I saw your topic, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so mad I can't stay for too long because I gotta I actually scheduled my live, but I just wanted to say real quick. But if you revisit this, I definitely want to come back on panel so we can chop it up and get like going into
I'm going to revisit because this is like a serious topic that people.
It is. And it's a real deep dive, and I didn't really understand it. I'm still learning about like narcissistic behavior, toxic behavior, like emotional manipulation, things like that, and like toxic cycles and stuff like that. I'm learning about it myself, having gone through it a tad. But kind of long story short, I went through like a situation on YouTube publicly, and it kind of it opened my eyes to like, damn, people are really selfish. People will really just use you for what they need you for, whether it be emotional validation or or whatever psychological needs they can get from you. And once they're done like using you up, it's just like they discard you like nothing. And then it's like you left like, damn, like at the end of the day, I'm a human being, I have feelings. So it's like for you to like, I've learned about like people like invalidating your feelings or trying to manipulate you, like have you thinking you the bad one or you the crazy one. Like, wait a minute, no, you lied, like you lied and manipulated me. Don't jet out my chicken, try to twist this around and put it on me. So as I've gone through it and I'm learning from it and having still I'm still processing it. So I'm still, again, like I said, I'm still learning about that behavior and things like that. But I never knew what love bombing was. I never knew what like I said, I never knew what invalidating your feelings and things like that, because I've never done that to people. I'm like, when I say I care about somebody or I rock with somebody or I say I'm cool with somebody, I just genuinely show that. And I was listening to the I'm sorry, I'm not sure the woman's name that you're listening to right now. As I was listening to the live or listening to the video, you have to draw back, because if you just keep continuously saying, okay, I got you, all right, I'll do it, da da da, and that was me too, and I had to learn how to draw back and say no and set boundaries for myself. Like if I couldn't, I'm finding myself scrambling trying to get something done for somebody else or help somebody else, and then I'm putting myself last, and then when I'm looking for somebody to reciprocate it or help me out or do something for me, it's like everybody going in the window, go to tumbleweeds, rolling through the wild wild west, like everybody going and disappeared. But I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's a learning experience, and it can be hurtful. Like when you really do like care about people, or when you really like try your best to show that you care about people or want to help, and then people just take that for granted, and you know what I'm saying, and you know what I mean, and just kind of, I don't know, just take advantage, and they're not appreciative of it. It is hurtful, but it's definitely a learning experience, and for me, it's teaching me how to move and navigate myself.
Yeah, so the video credit goes out to Alana Elaine. That's the person who is on this video. So I want to
Okay.
give her props out, Alana Elaine.
Okay, got you. And I'm gonna go subscribe to her channel too, because I like.
Yeah,
how
I think I spelled her name wrong. It's 2 N's, Alonna.
I got you.
Elaine. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and she has like coaching. Her first like 30 minutes are like nothing, and then of course, if you want to go further, she'll like actually coach you. And I'm trying to get her on my channel because I'm like, you know what? When I saw this video, I said, man, I am a people pleaser. You know what?
Yeah.
And I'm actually like just talking about it as it's going along, but I'm like, man, but it really goes back to something that happened in your childhood. Your mom might have been like not invalidating your feelings. She might not have been a certain way. And so she might have gave you certain advice. And so now you're following that advice or dealing with some of the things she might have said to you in the past. Well, you ain't whatever, whatever she said.
Right.
So now it makes you like, oh, okay. Well, so now I should be like this.
Right. And I also learned too, I mean, not necessarily, at least not for me, not for me personally, as far as like what like my mom goes and things like that, because she didn't really like, speak to me in that way. But I mean, it could just be any, it could be someone that you're close to, a teacher, a close friend, a relative, a neighbor, somebody that you really, for me, in my personal opinion, is someone that you like, really, had genuine feelings for, or like cared about, or just held in some type of high regard, and they just kind of said something that kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like hit that emotional switch to where it's like, you know what I mean, kind of like did something to you. I can't really, I can't really articulate it the way I want to right now, but
I would say like a user, like, so if you're not used to being around people that are users, right? That's what happened to me, is that my first encounter with a narcissistic person was like the person that like actually convinced me to come to Texas. And he started off like a nice guy, and I was working with doing his website. But then once I moved to Texas with him, you know what I'm saying? He turned out to be a monster, and I was a people pleaser. So therefore I was doing everything trying to please him, and he was doing nothing to help me. And everything was about him. And here's the thing is that when, and I was just used to seeing like my female people in my life, like, my grandma catered to her husband, my sister-in-law catered to my brother-in-law. So I thought that this was a normal thing.
That's what you're supposed to do, right? So learn behavior.
Yeah, like, so I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing by being overly given to this man, and because that's what a woman's supposed to do with their spouse, right? Or the person that they're with. But I found out that that's not exactly it, especially when you have a person that's toxic and that is just using you. So let's go.
But yeah, definitely. And I mean, just for, and again, like I said, I wish I could be on the pen a little longer, but I'll just leave you with this example of kind of what kickstarted my journey on learning about myself, learning about, if I have people pleasing behavior or habits, or just learn about narcissistic behavior and setting boundaries for myself. Basically, long story short, I thought I was, I was a mod for another content creator, another channel, not you, Genesis, another content creator, and you know the story, so I'm just telling the audience.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I was a mod for another content creator, for about 3 years, a support of this for a total of 5. And we were cool and things like that, and
And honey, I remember, honey, every time they would go live, I mean, you was promoting the hell out of that.
yeah, like all the
Mhm.
time. Like it's not any place on YouTube I wouldn't go, or even in my role, I'm like, support support this channel, support their products, support their business, da 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 da, just that type thing, because I just genuinely wanted them to succeed. I genuinely wanted to see the success. So it was just like, okay, from that, it went from moderator, content creator relationship to kind of like a friendship sort of, and then kind of like an offline, you know what I'm saying, like kind of like, I don't know, situationship, I guess you should say. But then it was, I thought everything was all good, the Santa third or whatever like that. It was, the love bombing was coming in, and the
Right.
getting the praise.
And you're the best, man. We gotta
Yeah,
do
like
this, we gotta do that together.
right.
We were making
I'm
plans, thinking y'all about to do this and do that, and da da da.
Right. Making futuristic plans and just, just giving me a full sense of hope, I guess, or whatever. And basically I'm, helping bring subscribers, helping going up business and generate business to your, to your business and your channel. Just for you to first of all, just for you to lie to me and then act like you really didn't know me like that, or you wasn't really into me like that. And then I was like, but wait, damn, I thought at least, and then told me they weren't obligated to tell me if they were like interested or seeing anyone else. All I was just saying is, you could just let me know if I'm not the only one. That's all I asked. I didn't ask to be hand in marriage. I ain't say we had to move in tomorrow. I just asked you to be honest with me. That's all. So they told me they weren't obligated to tell me that. I said, okay. I said, well, Dad, you don't even think at least on the sheer basis of us having like at least a moderator, content creator relationship or YouTubership or situationship, you owe me that much as respect, just out of respect for me, since I supported y'all for so long. You know what he told me? He never asked me to do all of that. I said,
Oh, they love to say that. I never asked you to do that.
I
I
said,
never told you to do this and that. You did
yeah,
it on your own. But
yeah.
does it even mean anything to you that I did that? That it means nothing?
But not even that. My response to that was, but you never stopped me though from doing it. So you liked it and you allowed it because it served a purpose for you. But now when you don't need me anymore, now I didn't ask you to do that. So long story short, I got my hat and coat and just had to get up out of that situation. But it kind of triggered, kind of broke off into like another whole, like an addendum and an appendix and all that, and a part A and B and all that. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, just that part, and that was more so hurtful to me anyway, because again, I was genuine and really wanting to help and see them succeed and see their business and their channel succeed. Just for somebody to go, I didn't ask you to do that. And just
I
like,
didn't ask
yeah,
you to do that. I mean, man, but you didn't stop it either.
right,
But you
and
enjoyed it when it was being done.
that part,
That's like a person you getting it in with them. Well, I didn't ask you to do it.
right,
Well, what the hell you did? Well, did you?
right.
So and so, like, I mean, so you didn't appreciate it. Oh, okay. Well, you just feel like I'm just worthless and I'm just
Right.
somebody. I'm another fan of yours that's just doing it just off.
Right, and that's the narrative that they were putting out. Like I was just a fan, and they don't I did I was they were just trying to be nice. Like like you take a puppy from a shelter, a donated shelter or something, and you adopt them, and it's just I was just trying to give her a nice home, and I was like, but wait a
I
minute,
was
time
trying to
out.
be nice to her while she was doing everything for me. I'm trying to be just
Right.
nice. She
That
doing
part.
everything that she can promoting me, but I was just trying to be nice, letting her promote me. I'm
Right,
helping her. She promote
right,
me. I'm helping her to promote me because I like
right,
what? How is that just trying to be nice? And
right,
then
and
turned around and then try to destroy it after they get done. When they get done with that, and you
and
fall
and
out,
and that's when it.
what they was trying to be nice about goes out the window.
And that's where that's how I was saying that's when you continue the conversation, I'll definitely come back up on panel and share some more. But that's kind of where that went. Then they turned around, and although they gave me permission, to review their content and things like that, turned around and started striking my channel for using it. So basically tried to emotionally manipulate me and like just turn on me, like, and then tried to like disparage my whole reputation and lie on me and just talk about me and just switched on me, just straight switched on me. Then that's when I learned about narcissistic behavior and tendencies. I was like, what the hell is going on? I thought I was bugging. I was like, am I going crazy? What's wrong with I said, oh, something not right. And I swear to goodness, I was just, I'm not being funny again. I'm not, disclaimer, I'm not making fun of mental illness at all. But I was really kind of hoping they really had a mental illness problem or issue or something, just to, you know what I mean, just to make sense of what was going on, just to rationalize this behavior. Because I was like, how did you turn into like this monster in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later? I was like, what the hell's going on? But it really, and I mean, and more so, not for anything for me, it was more so the mod content creator relationship. It was the YouTubership / relationship or situationship, whatever. It was just that, because I really admired them as content creators. You know what I'm saying?
Even if it wasn't even like a romantic situation,
Right.
just the respect alone that someone put themselves
right
and took out the time to promote what your brand is, to promote
right.
yourself, that should be respected, like, you know, and be thanked and be appreciated. But if a person doesn't even appreciate it from the very beginning, that was God, you know, whatever this situation is happening to you, God just stepped in and said, you know what, enough, you know. And that's what happened to me, is I had to like learn enough. That's it. Say no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
No. I mean,
Right.
I used to let people use my car and all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to the point where I say, okay, like, you use my car. Next thing you know, I get up in the morning, the car is not there. You know, but you're already staying with me, you're taking my car, you're doing this, bring it back on E. Like, just real disrespectful type of stuff.
Right. At least like keep, you know, put the gas back, or when I need it, have it ready for me so I can get where I'm going on time and things like that. Yeah.
They want to argue about it. Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to do what I had to do. Okay, well then, on my back though. So
well. See, now my new line is now I got to do what I got to do for me, and I honestly had to learn how to set boundaries for myself.
And when you start to say no, they start to go insane,
and that's when it went left. So, you know, I mean, yeah, you know, it was. You live me and learn, but you know, sometimes it does take things to learn, and not to be funny, like, thank God it happened like early on. You know, I wasn't deep into it for years, and it didn't turn into like any type of like physical abuse and nothing like that. But I mean, you know, about 3, 4, 5 B words, you know, in one sentence, you know, it turns into like some verbal abuse type situation. But you know, I'm still going through it, so I'm still, you know, still processing, still getting through it, doing my best to do that.
Yeah, that's I'm so sorry to hear about that, Mel. You know, that's why I think with this work that this woman is doing is really important. That's why I brought it up on here, because we really need to know about this when we're dealing with manipulative and narcissistic people.
Want to say in the relationship,
right.
no in that conversation, and you want to keep bringing it back to the fact that this is how you feel.
Right.
You've said this multiple times.
Right.
Not that what my boundaries are. That doesn't mean we go into a tangent of, hey, I have told you, I have expressed this to you already. I have reminded you already. And when they go off on a tangent, oh, well, you don't care about me and it makes me sad because what about this and what about, you go back. I have told you before why this is not. And again, conversations and communication with people that we don't need to have it with, we shouldn't be doing it. But let's say you have to, there's an absolute need to communicate with this person. Keep it simple. Also, do not try to see it from their perspective, because if we're dealing with a narcissistic, toxic person, we already know their perspective is skewed. We already know that it is heavily emotionally charged, and the intent is not to connect with you. It's to control you. So trying to see it from their perspective and communicate that you can see it from their perspective is the first red flag to a bull. As soon as they see that you're willing to see it from their perspective, now all of a sudden the tears come out, or they're going to try and take you down this windy road of foolishness, and it's never ending crap. Also, try not to forgive so easily.
Do it sound familiar?
Forgiving is for ourselves.
Yes.
It's not necessarily for other people.
Again, it'll be a year and I'm still dealing with it.
With heaviness.
Man, listen, I know you have to be at your live. I know. When does your live start?
4:15. So yeah, I just wanted to come up and you know,
but,
just
if you have a little more time, but I want you to hear some of this stuff because I think it might be helpful. until
Okay.
you. Well, yes,
Yeah.
let's go.
And the
I sent you.
burden
I
of
sent you
being
a
angry and
DM. I sent you a
Oh,
DM in IG. I didn't want to ask you.
okay. I'm gonna play this a little more. Here we go.
resentful.
Okay.
However, that doesn't mean you have to sit down with these people and communicate to them that you forgive them. Because I have found that people like this, they want you to forgive, forget, and go right back like you have amnesia and do the same thing over again. They go immediately back into the same foolishness. This is why, again, when you're talking about healthy connections versus unhealthy ones, forgiveness for people like this is a pass to keep treating you the way that they do. You also want to view the things that they've done more objectively. You don't want to be so emotional about it. And this is again when you reflect on it on your own time for yourself. So if you're trying to process why this person said this to you, why they treated you this way, you have to take away the emotional element. So let's pretend this is a mom, okay? You don't want to be in the place of saying, well, I'm their daughter. Like, how could they treat me like this? They don't see you like that. That's something I learned very quickly. They do not see you as a child. They do not see you as, someone that they should be protecting and should.
And you might have been saying, "Well, we're friends, right? Why could you? How could you treat me like this? We're friends."
That's what. Yeah.
He
That's what I
did. He
thought
don't.
of
They
it.
don't see you as a friend, so
Yeah.
therefore, that's why they're
Mhm.
able to treat you in that way. There we go. Let's go.
Right.
Oh crap! I hit the wrong button.
That keeps moving upwards. It's never enough. If people are not coming from a healthy place, I've never seen it work out where it was beneficial to both parties. We also want to keep in mind that a lot of these tactics, they can apply to healthy relationships, but there's a different set of tactics and tips that you want to apply to unhealthy relationships, right? In a healthy relationship in which you are people pleasing,
Hold on.
that other
We're
needs
about
for
right here.
other people to get to us, that we're no longer shocked or surprised when they show up to the family get together or this work event because they know you're going to be there. You want to say to yourself, I have processed this over and over again, and every single time I come back to the same thing is they treat people like trash. They treat people like objects. They treat people like they don't matter, and that's not how I treat them. That is not what I expect in a relationship, and I am not willing to accept it, period. The last thing when dealing with people like this is you want to be able to keep a level mind, a calm, cool mind. Because when we get too emotional, they use that against us. And I know
Mm.
that's hard. I know it's hard because as someone who used to cry very easily in situations like this because I was so pissed off, I know it's hard to get your emotions in check and like not let that get to the best of you. But this is why we want to have a calm, regulated nervous system. Because when someone does something like this, we are no longer activating fight or flight, where we're like fearful and then we're emotional and then we're crying and we're panicking. We're actually calm and we're in our body. And then we can say, actually, I remember this. And a tip that I used to I can calm my mind down and get my thoughts in, and then clearly and calmly, without tears, without feeling sad, communicate that I still don't like you.
That part.
Okay, so now we're gonna get
That's what
into
I
some
got. I
solutions
kind of
and
got there, but
practical tips on how to stop
Here we
being
go.
so polite
How to
and
make people
demanding more
respectful.
respect and no longer being a people pleaser.
I'm
So
gonna
the
speed
first
this up.
tip
Hold on.
is that you want to believe in your own abilities. You want to see how you are capable because the thing that you're seeking in other people, you want to recognize it within yourself first. You want to build your self-trust to acknowledge how capable you are. So the way that we do this is simple things. We're keeping promises to ourselves. We're going out on these solo dates. We're building hobbies. We're following our passions and careers. We're doing things that help us recognize where we are able to take ourselves and our dreams the full distance. We are capable of giving ourselves the love that we're so desperately seeking in other people, the validation that we're seeking in other people. It's so much easier to stand up for yourself and to communicate your boundaries when you love yourself, when you know that you're capable of giving yourself things. You also don't feel so afraid. Like another thing that these people like to do is threaten you with leaving. And sometimes that can come with like them taking resources. And that's not just financial. That could be love. That could be
Taking
company. That could
resources.
be time, the energy that you poured into this relationship. And the fear of that ending can keep a lot of us in situations we shouldn't be in. So again, if you know your own love comes
May I
from you, if you
interject real
know
quick,
that the way that
Genesis?
you take up space
Yeah,
in
go
your
ahead.
own environment is so beautiful and so
Sorry.
connected.
Just
Go
real
ahead.
quick. And another thing, just real quick, I just want to interject real quick. Another thing he tried to do to me, I mean, as if you didn't do enough, like lie, manipulate, whatever, invalidate me, discard me. You then turned around and said, because I can take your channel anytime I feel like it, because that's my channel.
Wow.
As if he gave me it, as if he gave it to me, as if he started it and handed it to me.
Wow.
He said that's an extension of our channels anyway, so I could just take it anytime I want to.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man, that is awful.
yeah,
That is
definitely.
terrible for someone to do to another human being.
Yeah, and that's
Especially you, as much as you have done to
Uh-huh.
help that person. And you know
Mhm.
what? And that's the type that is very, very narcissistic. That's awful for someone to do to you.
Right, and that's when I really, really like got just really started boosting myself up, encouraging myself. Wait a minute now, time out. This is not what we're doing. No, you're gonna Mel. I mean, not fight back physically, but fight back. Doing what I need to do, responding to any strikes to stand the third. Handling myself, showing my receipts to stand the third. That anybody try to lie on me or paint any false
It's not a
narrative.
shame you gotta show receipts.
Yeah, because it was
You
a
know,
lot.
and like I was saying earlier, is that with people like
What's
that,
going on, Pamela?
you'll have a conversation with them, and then they'll be like, "Oh no, but you said this," and they'll stay on this,
Right, right.
this, and you end up having to record the conversation because they keep like going in the circle about what this one thing you said.
And not to be funny, that's why on my other channel, Mel Up the Dog, and I just commented that channel in the chat. That channel is where I had like I do a lot well, that channel is, the premise of that channel is like based on relationships and what I mean, just things like that, relationship topics and things like that. So I had to really play back some of the lives where like my live streams like, no, this you said this stuff, so please don't try to tell me what you you know what I'm saying, like don't talk different now because this is what you were talking then. So I had to actually like play, what I'm saying, what they were talking then. Whether it was your
I mean,
representative.
I've been like in conversation with people and recording them on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then play it back to them, and they still be like,
They
"No,
still deny it. Yeah, I don't. That part. Again, like I said, I'm still learning about it. I'm still.
you recorded me? Hold on, no,
Oh
you
yeah. Oh
recorded
my goodness. Oh, now it's like I can't trust you. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah, I
lord.
can't trust you. Like, why you recording me?
Yeah.
So honey, when I talk to you,
You lie, like, and then you deny. Oh my
I
god.
will talk to. I will say this. I'll say that. This, that, the
Right.
other. Blah, blah, and you focus on
Right.
this one little
And then
thing
you go.
over
I
here.
never said. No. There you go. I never said that. What are you talking about?
Yes, you
I
did. Okay,
proved that.
let me go back to 1.1
Right.
time frame. And then
Look,
no, I want to hear
10:55
that because
a.m. Right.
you recorded me, and I
Yeah, it turns into that. It's so, and that's why I'm saying that's why it's just such a it's such an anomaly to me. I don't know. I've never experienced something like that before. So I was just like, are you serious? Like, are you for real? It's people out here like that for real? That's wild to me.
right, like no, like what really comes down to it's like, dude, you're friends, right? We're friends, right? We're
Right.
friends first before any relationship. So nothing should be able to stop the friendship of it all. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? How
Family.
does how? But if we never was friends, and it
Right.
was the only way that a friendship would stop over something so petty is that there were never was a friendship to begin with, and it was a
Well,
felt like
I
oh
mean,
okay,
well, for me, for me,
entitlement, like oh
right.
people always do this for me. You know what? That's what Shaka said when he
Uh,
stayed with me for that like time, like about 8
right.
months and about a
Yeah.
year. He was
Mhm.
like, well, people always let us stay with them. So
Wow.
therefore, it didn't need all that time, no
Right.
rent,
It
nothing
was
like
just
that.
like something you were supposed to do or something for
Like,
him or something like.
people are like, I'm shocked. I'm Shaka Zulu. People always do this for me. So therefore,
Mhm.
it's like nothing that you did was not meant anything anyway. So
Right, of value or worth of anything. You know what I mean? Because that's just what.
there's no value to it. You know,
Right.
they're not gonna, and that's what I got told in my Ita. They're not gonna. Don't let people do this because they are not gonna appreciate it in the end. Because
Right.
they feel like that you're doing it because of who they are. They're
Right.
so whoever they are.
Right.
that you're doing it for them because you think that they're so powerful or whatever they are
Child,
that you're just trying to be a part of what they're doing. So therefore, they deserve what you're giving to them.
Child Genesis, he said I never did anything for his channel. He said he could take my channels at any time he wants to because my channels are just an extension of his channel. So he could take it anytime he feel like it. I was like, you going to take something from me you never gave me. That's crazy work.
Right, right. You know,
Crazy work. I was like,
that is just negating. I mean, and that had to make you feel terrible. Like,
I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I said, okay, wait, okay. Not only are you just like, you know, like I don't know, womanizer or whatever, but now you're like a manipulator. Now you getting little pieces. Like your mind is like warped. Now you delusional. Because I was like, wait a minute.
no, it got so bad with my situation that even though I was not even trying to be with this guy, he began to tell other people, no, she was trying to be my wife and this, that. Yeah, I'm like, no, I was not trying to be your wife. I was just, this is business, you know. But,
right.
You know,
right.
Your situation might be a little bit different because he did cross that line of like
right.
friendship over business. But in my situation, I was never trying to screw this dude. I was like, we were business, trying to make different businesses over businesses. And they turned around. She been trying to be my wife. I'm like, honey, what wife ain't trying to get it in? Come on now.
Yeah, sweet. I'm telling you.
I mean, listen. I'm a listen. Okay.
It's a lot. That's what I said, Jill. We going we definitely gotta revisit this and unpack some more because this is
right.
got a lot of story time over here.
Right, we need to be a whole story time. Let's go. Let's listen to more what she got to say. She hitting it though. She hitting it.
Yeah, I like her. I like her. Too.
They're not taking anything with them, not anything of you. You might be sad because obviously that's natural and that's human, but you won't feel like your whole existence is tied up in that connection. And again, that's not just romantic, that's friendships as well. We've seen this before, right? Where, especially public friendship breakups, where a friend group was together, but let's pretend that person A is in this friend group and they bring in person B, but then the friendship breaks up and the person that they brought in is the one who takes the whole friend group. That can make us feel like I don't want to break up this friend group because I'm going to lose all my friends. But if that friend group is not in alignment with who you are trying to be or what direction you're trying to go in, it's okay to have outgrown that friendship. It doesn't say anything negative about you or those other people. You don't want to be afraid of losing people. You want to be afraid of losing yourself. The next tip is to learn not to budge with your boundaries. If you are not okay with something and it's something that like seriously is you're not okay with, it triggers you emotionally, psychologically. It's something that really gets to you. Don't budge on it. Don't feel like you have to accommodate somebody else. Honestly, it can be small things. You not being okay with something because it reminds you of childhood traumas, that's okay for it to be a boundary. Don't budge on that. This is why we end up in friendships where, you know, we're giving too much financially, or it's almost like we're a partner to these other people because we're giving too much of ourselves in these relationships. Same thing with romantic partnerships. If you know you have a boundary that you don't want to live with somebody before you guys get serious or get married or whatever it is, don't let somebody talk you into moving in with them because financially it would make more sense to stay with that person. These can be little things like your car. If you don't want to let your family drive your car, it's okay for you to say that's a boundary and I'm not budging on that. Don't let anybody make you feel like it's a bad thing to not do that. I had this before.
I'm going through this right now. I have a person I have staying here that I'm friends with that asked me to come stay here, but well, I need you to. Can you like drive me here? Can you do this? Well, what? I'm like, bro, you're 40 years old. Get a car. Like, don't ask me for my car.
Right.
No more. Because when they first came here, I let them use my car to bring it back on one. You know, I got one of them cars that tell you how many miles you got to go before it
right.
Right,
before it's like
imagine that shit was at 2 miles.
2 miles. That's like around the corner.
I had to hurry up to the gas station, and then it cut off when I got to the pump. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
And then still after that, still like, can I just drive your car? Take it? No, hell no.
Right. Wow.
And listen, it took everything, and it's something within me to still be like feeling bad in some kind of weird way. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Like, oh, sorry, my language. I'm sorry.
No, I got
what is wrong with me? Why am I like this? Why do I feel bad about telling a person no?
Right. And
On
and
my
that,
card, I
I-
need for my kids to get back and forth to school.
right.
And
That's
it's like,
yours. Even again, I don't care if you was going to on the merry-go-round. It's mine. It's mine. It's not for your personal use. Okay, you actually use it once or twice. Okay, but this is not for your exclusive use.
oh no,
It's for
trust
you.
me,
You
it's
gotta
like,
go get you.
why? I'm just trying to like, no, I don't care what you're trying to do.
Right. What's
And
going
I
on?
was telling now, and it's I had to like dig deep to become a BITC. I've had to like the BITCH.
Right. And see Genesis, like
I had to like pull it up, like I'm like, dude, where can I find this person? Because it's not me. And I'm like,
right.
dude,
And I had to learn that, Genesis. I thought I was being mean. I thought I was being selfish. I thought I was being inconsiderate. But no, it's just actually setting boundaries for yourself. It's just letting people know you're not going to walk all over me. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I get what you're saying, because I would feel bad too. I would feel like, oh my God, I got to do this. Oh my God, I got to da-da-da. Let me try to, okay, let me rearrange this. Let me run and do that. Da-da-da-da-da. And I mean, not to be funny, but look how that end result happened. You know what I'm saying? Like that person
too much.
that person didn't even appreciate what I did. So it's like, what was, you know what I mean? Okay, and again,
Right, you let them use the car, and then
right,
whatever, and they do the same thing, and then be like,
right,
well, I whatever, make up some reason as to why they deserve to have it anyway. It's like, what?
right, and it's still and they still unappreciative. They're still not even understanding. Like you're using me at this point, like, and I'm irritated by it, and you're not even apologetic. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, you know, or something. It's just like, oh well, you let me use it before, so how can, you know, what's the problem now? Like it turns into that. And I'm just,
Yes, yeah. Well, I
yeah.
did it before. No,
Yeah.
you did
Just-
it before.
I know.
You didn't
I
expect
know.
it then, so why would I let you expect it to do that?
Right.
Expect it now.
Right.
What
So
are we doing?
I totally understand. Trust me, having gone through what I've gone through,
We listen. I think that for certain people are going through the same thing at the same time, and it's
yes,
really weird how that happens.
yes. Because I
family
mean,
members who wanted to borrow my stuff.
I just need to say real
clothes.
quick for me,
Uh-huh.
I just think I mean, unless you're just like a I don't know, a hermit or like a whole introvert or just very, you know, just off to yourself. I think people are just naturally, it's human nature to just, you know what I mean, that human interaction. And at least for me, I've been taught treat people how you want to be treated. I just thought that was an automatic, you know what I mean, an automatic, you know, ingrained in people. But some people don't have it. Some people weren't born with it. Some people lose it. Some people you have to teach people on how to treat you. I learned that as well. Some people just don't have that. I just thought that was an automatic. I'm like, how would you like if I did that to you? Well,
You couldn't do that to them because they would never even offer it to begin with.
they wouldn't even allow it. And I thought about it after, and I was like, but you know, I mean, he was.
You could never ask them to do the same thing for you. They would never do it. It would be like, oh, what you gonna give me, right? So when you come with them, like, okay, well, what you fixing to give me? They feel like what? What? No. Now you gotta argue with them about why you're not doing, because you've been so kind that they feel like they're entitled to your kindness. That when you actually begin to assert yourself, now it's like you're crossing the line. You wrong.
Right. Now I'm doing too much. Yeah. That's where that started. That's where that cycle of, you know,
man, listen, Jaguar said to me, now listen, her mother called me. It was two different situations. Her mother called me. Well, when her mom was at my house, she didn't have no diabetes medication. I helped her mom do that. I made she was sad, whatever. She didn't want to be there. She wanted to go home. Took her home. Now, when she actually was in the mental ward, she called me. I'm hungry. I gave her $100. She actually turned around and said, "Well, nobody told you to do all that." One time she was in the jail. I went over there trying to help her, trying to figure out how to get her out. Nobody told you to do all that. Like what?
Right.
And it broke my heart. I was like, what?
Right, because you were being genuine. Like that. First of all, she's she's an elderly. She's senior citizen. She needs her medicine. Like you,
I'm trying to get her help so she could be there for her mother. She don't even realize.
Yeah. I mean,
your mom's calling me for food and everything. Let me try to figure out how to get you the fuck up out of here so you can take care of your mother. Nobody asked you to do that. What? Like, and then on top of that, what she did was she actually one time, and I said this earlier in the live, she said to me, "I don't understand why you want people to like you so much." one time she was being very rude to me in my house.
Right.
And I was like, why? What is the problem? Why are you being like really rude to me?
Right.
She said, well, I just don't understand why you want people to like you so much.
Invalidating your feelings.
I'm like, why?
And-
What? You don't understand
Yeah.
why I want people to like me so much? What do you
Right.
mean? By that? And
Right.
it took me a second. It took me almost a whole year to process that because in my mind, I'm like, what? Like to like me so much? What do you mean by I want people to like
Right.
me? Why does it make you angry that I want people to like me?
Right. And
But
it's
you're on every like platform trying to get everybody to like
right. Good, trying to get everybody to like you. Right. And again,
and believe this bullshit that you out here talking about. You know what I'm saying?
and another word that I learned, another term that I learned, Genesis, through this process is projection. She's projecting onto you what she's doing. Because I'm like, no, you panel hop every 5 minutes and go run around to everybody's channel trying to engage with anybody, whether it be negative or positive. As long as she's getting some type of engagement out of somebody, she's happy about it. So it's to me, I've learned that term for myself. And I really just think that's like, especially when people say like hateful things and like very venomous things to people, it's like I think that's self-hate. That's how they feel about themselves, and they want you to feel just as bad as they do on the inside, but they come off as though they don't care and it doesn't mean anything to them. No, you upset. You're just lashing out. You don't know how to articulate yourself or express your feelings properly. So the what's the best thing to do to help you cope with how you feel about yourself? To try to make me miserable and try to make me feel bad at the same time.
Right. I was on a panel the other day by this guy. I forget what his name is. He had me on the panel, and I literally went up there and I said, you know what? I see what you're doing. You know, I appreciate what you're doing. What I say, I came up here because I want to give you some love. It's Saturday, happy Saturday, and I just want to let you know I see what you're doing, and this, that, the other. That turned into a whole thing where they were calling me a witch and everything, and I'm like, what? You know? And so I finally was like, okay, because this guy, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to explain to him, no, I didn't mean it that way, and I'm trying to be okay. Well, what do you mean? Like, I'm doing like this, right? No. You practice the dark arts. You into the darkness and this, that, the other. I said, okay, you know what? Okay, you want to see the darkness? Okay, because clearly we all have a dark side within. I've never claimed to be 100% love and light. Okay, but I do got that aspect of me that will be like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you what you want.
Right, like enough of this now. Yeah, like come on, man.
Enough of this now.
This human thing you want to keep calling me.
You want to see? You've been pushing me. You pushing me. You pushing.
Listen, Genesis. I was about, in part of my language, I was about 30 bitches before that 31st one. I started to be a bitch. I said, "Oh, you want a bitch? Oh, I'm gonna give you a bitch."
Right, and then when you do that, it's like, no, hold on, no, ain't no hold on now.
Thank you.
No hold on. Now I am a tornado.
Yeah,
I'm a hurricane. I have tried to be kind. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to talk to you very kind, boy. Exactly. No, you ain't that. You this, you that. That's what's wrong with her now. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, this person was just going in on me, and these people was in the comments, and they're agreeing. Yeah, she is. So now I got like 300 people in the comments agreeing with this guy, saying that I'm like this bad person, all because I went up there and said, you know, I see what you're doing, and this, that, that. I said, okay, you want the response, I'm gonna give it to you. And honey, he had to kick me off the damn panel because I said, you know what? He was trying to mute me. I'm unmuting. No. This is what you want, don't you want that? You wanted it. Here you go. Like my thing is, I don't know why people think I'm a pushover just because I'm kind to them. Like no,
right.
A very kind person.
Right. And don't give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? Don't assert yourself, because then they can't handle that. Now it's you crazy, you something wrong with you, and why you doing all that? You doing too much. Right,
now I'm doing too much. Now they gotta kick me. Oh my god. Oh Lord. Oh my god. Oh, what the hell was that?
Yeah. See,
I told you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care what you told them. You know, now, okay, you want some Negro boo? You want me to be on some? Okay, because I can go there.
Yep.
I've been in the hood. You know, I can get hood with you. Let's go.
Let's go.
What now? What? Okay. You want the darkness and the darkness of the energy or whatever the hell you think you should do? Well, you in the dark, whatever. Like, no, I'm trying to be love and light. I tried to come up here love and light, but now you want the chaos. And then when I bring the chaos, I'm the bad guy.
And sometimes, and just sometimes. Now, I will say, um, and even for myself, any type of advice I give, I try to follow as best I can for myself as well. I would just definitely say assert yourself, defend yourself, but trying to stay in that place for too long,
Right.
because I've noticed also, not toxic people and narcissistic people, they like, and shout out to you, Vay, for reminding me of this. They like to argue. They like to stay in that spot and have you in that way with them all the time. That gives them their energy to keep thriving and to keep rocking, and they don't even care, so it don't bother them. So now I'm more aggravated. I got an attitude.
My whole day fucked up
My
now.
whole day felt that I can't eat. I'm aggravated. I got a headache, or I'm just, I'm snippy and I'm moody, and now it's throwing off my
The
whole
people ain't got nothing to do with it. You
day.
tell
Right,
your daughter come in like, hey
right,
mommy, what do you
right.
want?
Yeah, like, what do you want? This and the third, but
You hungry? Here's your food. What you want? People call you on the phone.
right, right. Or you don't, or sometimes you don't even pick up because you don't even want to be bothered. But
Yeah.
it's like, and then it's like, but they getting they rocks off and they jollies off, and it fuels them. So I had to learn that too.
I think that person literally like was like kind of, I could hear the smile on their face when I went off. It was like,
Mhm.
man, what's wrong? Like, and I think they
Yeah.
got a kick out of that. Like, the people get a kick out of like
They
getting
get a
you
kick.
out of
They get a
your.
kick out of it. They do, and I mean, when I tell you, it's like a sinister laugh or like a chuckle or giggle. You don't know. It's like Jack was it. She'll laugh and ha ha, release the crack. She thinks it's a game, and you are like really serious. Like, yo, bro, what is wrong
I
with
will
you?
find out where you live at, nigga,
Allegedly.
and show up at your house, knock on your door, ready to fight. Like,
Yeah.
I
People
said,
keep.
listen,
Yep. People want to play these internet games.
listen. I already did. I already looked it up. I said, okay, let me calm down. Dude,
Yeah.
like, man, when I got up off that panel, honey, I was up there like, okay, where this
Yeah.
nigga live at? I mean, I know
Yeah.
he here. Okay,
Yeah.
then you want to play with me? But I said I had
Yeah.
to calm. I said,
Yeah.
listen,
You gotta bring yourself back in like a good headspace.
into back into like into
Yeah.
homeostasis. Like, okay,
Yeah.
why am I tripping like that? You done transferred your negative energy onto me.
On to me, yep. And then and again, in turn, if you don't
Get
compartmentalize it or
confused
process
almost when
it,
you fight back. Hold on, they said, look
yeah,
back. Listen, they came back. They get confused. Like, oh, wait,
yeah,
hold on,
yeah. Like, what's wrong with you?
oh my god, like
Yeah.
when you tripping, you tripping now. Now you
Mm-hmm.
tripping. Like, but you've
Mm-hmm.
been tripping on me the whole time. Now,
The whole
I'm
time.
tripping when I
And I
start tripping.
and I've been trying, and you know what, another term I don't like, and I try not to use it on people too much, because when people tell me that, I just go, "Rrr." When people go, but just be the bigger person. Well, how big am I gonna get? If I get
Man,
any
Bump
bigger,
the
I ain't
bigger
gonna
person.
fit through the door. How much
Man, Bump
verbal
the bigger
abuse
person,
and
honey.
lies
I'm
and
gonna be the bigger
toxicity am I
person and whoop
supposed to
your
take?
little ass. I'm about to be the bigger person and whoop your little ass.
Yeah, it's like, what? I be like, oh my god, I
I'll be
can't get
that
no
bigger
bigger.
person.
Yeah, I
Stop
can't.
playing with me.
I get any bigger, I can't fit through the door, and that's not but my style. The hell,
You know
but
what I'm saying, man? We both, man. But it's crazy. Like I said, people like us go through the same thing at the same exact time.
yeah,
I've been going through it with our loved one child, Miss Cheetah Wright. You know what I'm saying? I done been
Mhm.
going through it with Cheetah, and so now and then other people want to jump on it and try to like get me out my character.
Yeah.
I've gone through it with the and something about these it's a BITCH move. These
Mhm.
men be having like this like
Yeah.
BITCH, you know what I'm saying?
I never.
Where they
I'm
want
so.
to get you out of pocket and then try to like boss up on you. I'm like, bro, yeah,
Again, I'm
you
old school. I don't know this newfangled with these dudes want to argue with women. I
with
never
women,
seen nothing like this in my life. And then with the
arguing with
dudes, then
women.
with the dudes,
Love
that
it.
nah, bro. Come on now, let's be grown men about this. Let's talk about this. You know this fool. He got into it with other content creators, male ones at that. You know how he handled them? Oh, he wrote them a song. He cash apped them. Now let's bygones be bygones. You know what I get? A bag of bitches. Very crazy.
Wow.
Very wild. Very wild. It's very weird. And then get mad when I defend myself. No, I will forever
You're
defend
supposed
myself.
to let it happen. Just let it
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, that part. That whole thing. And again, I am from Brooklyn, New York. I don't know what part of town you're from, but that's not where we do it where I'm from. It's crazy work.
I'm from Detroit, like
Child. I know y'all get it popping.
right. Like I'm not even used to like just arguing on the internet.
Right.
my
Right.
mind goes straight to where you at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, okay, I gotta calm down.
Right.
I'm fixing to catch a case. Like you don't even realize that my mind is like thinking about all type of wild stuff. Like I'm like,
Right.
bro, I have to calm myself down into like, okay,
Yeah, I had to
hold
get
on.
I had to get in Zen mode. I had to zen one good time fooling up with some people because I be like, he got me messed. He got me fucked up.
You don't think I can find where you at, bro? Like, I mean,
Child bye. Child bye. But
they,
that's all.
listen,
Let's get
people think that you can't find it. That's another thing on this online. They
child
don't
bye.
think you can find
Now,
out where they
now
at.
with this day and age of public information. this
Woo!
the information age, and wait till AI fully kick in. Everybody gotta log into something or check in or something or have a number or code. Wait till it really hits.
Man, bro, I've been on all type of like the African what's his name? The African warlord, all type of like people like that. They teach you how to like find people. Because honey, you know, honey, he be activating people ring door cameras on it. Man, honey, I'm like, okay, I'm back in the chat. I'm okay, well, how do you do that? I'm like, dude, but I had to calm down. I said, let me just come.
I was about to say, this is don't give out all your secrets now, child. Keep something close to the vest.
Bro, I was like, man, I was up on there like, okay, I'm gonna join the disc. Listen, I was like, you want to play with me? I'm about to find out.
Yeah.
But I had to like I'm like, I'm a mother with children.
Right.
Calm down.
Right.
Woo side. Right,
Yeah,
Sneaky. Woo mother effing side, bro. Let's listen to this lady. She got more sense than I got.
Well, it's like, okay, let's get back into it. What's up, everybody? I see y'all in the chat.
She got more sense than I got, because I'm gonna tell you what, I ain't got that much sense. You really like
no, but I'm not for nothing, Genesis, and I've always said that, especially with Jag. And you know how I feel about them shockers and all them other characters. But especially with Jag, you have a lot of patience, and people like to deal with that in real life. Like this, just not an online thing. It carried over into your real life. You have a lot of patience. You have a lot more patience than I do, especially with that incident with them in your house.
No, and she keep going. They haven't stopped. She keep going. She lied.
Crazy word.
Saying that I told everybody where she lived at. I'm like, girl, if you don't leave me the hell alone, don't make me get the African warlord on you. So I was like, oh, she told people where I was. I mean, I got people like these newfangled people that's got English accents and shit. Like, well, did you tell people that where she was? I'm like, who are you? Man, what go back in the tape. Go back in the YouTube tapes. Then you'll know. Like, don't ask me no new ass stupid.
Exactly. She been running that lie forever. Nobody don't even believe her no more. So it's just like, just let her talk.
She told people where I was at. She did this and she did. I'm not even thinking about you with your crazy ass.
Thank you. What Sneaky said? Sneaky said everybody knows she live outside. She stay outside. She live outside.
I think about her, Legina, none of them people. Like,
oh God,
nobody. I'm like, dude, y'all all, to me,
weird.
Y'all got what y'all got. You got on your feet. Legina, shouts out to her. She got on her feet. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Jaguar, you got on your feet somehow, hook or crook. But I don't know. Like, leave me alone. Why are you bothering me?
Yeah, that part. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, just leave me be. That's my only thing. Just if we gonna part ways, let it be separate.
I choose not to, and you know what? And I've been on that. I've been watching the videos, trying to be the bigger. Because let me tell you something. Like people did, if they really knew the thoughts that go through my mind, they would leave me the hell alone. Like, dude, don't fuck with that dude. Because I'll be like, man, trust me, leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. It's safer that way. It's safer that way.
You know what I'm saying? What they say? What you call say when you about to think about you being attacked? Something like protect the bear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. Yeah, don't poke the bear. Yep.
Right, don't poke the bear, bro.
Let me sleep. Leave me. Yeah, because it's like when you poke me, now I'm up. Now I'm aggravated. Now we're gonna have a problem. Now we gotta keep this going. Like now you're gonna understand. Don't leave me alone.
Mystical. What Mystical say? Something the bear. I forget what it. But whatever it was, he said hide the bear or some shit like that. But whatever it is, like, dude, bro, leave. Listen.
Right.
I'm over here. I'm in the conscious community. I'm over here doing debate. You still want to you just want to bring me up. You want to you want to bring me back over to this.
again, vying for your attention to suck you back in so they can draw that energy from you again. You know what I'm saying? You've
And
left
you
it.
know
You're
what? You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
right. It's a suck that energy back from you. So and
Suck, that's what her first son said. She was a
yeah,
succubus.
succubus. That's I'm like, okay, I understand it now, and that's what it is. And she needs that to feed her. She needs that to
And
keep her going.
and it's an incubus too. It's a male succubus too. So let's go with, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
All right, let's listen to some more
Okay,
of this.
all right.
Clothes or items that I got, and they wanted to borrow them before I even used the item. And when I tried to say that the answer was no, they acted like I was such a terrible person and called me the B word because of it. I didn't care. Okay. And the reason I said no is because that person disrespected my stuff and would literally destroy my things and bring them back to me dirty or broken. You don't respect yourself, and therefore you don't respect me or my things. So again, whatever your boundaries are, stand firm on them and know that your boundaries, like let's say you're in the healing process, so you have a
It's hard to listen to this because every fucking thing she's saying happened. Like you'll buy something and they even use it. Somebody be like, "Hey, are you? What is this? Can I use this?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, no, I have not used it already. Like, what the fuck? Like, when you want to take? Come on now.
Right,
It'd be still in the package. What did you get this? Whose socks are these? Can I have a sock?
Not yours. That's why I mean, again, not yours.
A pack of socks. So whose socks? Can I have one of these socks? No, you can't, bro. Like for real.
boundary of like you're not going to date certain people, or you're not going to talk to certain people, or you don't go certain places because it triggers you. That is helping that version of you heal. As you heal, you might find that those boundaries, like you don't need them anymore because you're not triggered by those same things. You have different boundaries. That's okay too. You want to be able to shift into those new spaces, knowing what you like or don't like, and being okay with giving yourself the permission to change and grow as life changes and grows with you. The next tip to being less polite and gaining more respect is to be more assertive. Being assertive doesn't mean you're going around bulldozing people with your ideas or what you desire, but it means saying things with confidence and knowing that what you're saying is of importance and of value and that people want to hear what you have to say. Even if they don't agree with you, knowing how to communicate those in a way that says that you like yourself and you like what you have to say and you know that it's okay for you to take up space in this way, whatever that looks like for you. Being assertive doesn't mean you're robotic or that you're aggressive with people. It can mean like if you're a bubbly, happy, joyful person, you can still communicate it in the way that you want to, but knowing that you want to be intentional about the way that you say things to certain people. Also recognizing reading the room. Like if you're in an environment where being bubbly and cutesy is not going to help you, don't show up like that because people won't take you seriously. But if you're with your friends, that's okay, right? But the more that you show up in a space in a way that is more in alignment with you, you build more confidence in yourself. And confidence is the byproduct of action. My girl Aisha said this, and I love her for it. The more we show up and do the things that we need to, the more that we take intentional steps, the more we feel confident in communicating that with other people. The next tip,
Man, hold on real quick. That's what Mystical said. He said, if you ever see me in the forest fighting a bear, help the bear.
Oh,
You understand? That's what it was. I was trying to figure out what it was. Help the bear, okay?
right.
Like I'm not the listen. Don't worry about me. Help the bear. Okay?
Help
I'm
the
gonna
bear.
whoop the bear behind.
And not necessarily in a verbal way. We want to use non-verbal communication, the way that we walk, the way we dress, the way we hold ourselves. These are things that are going to speak for you before you enter a room, when you enter a room, as you're passing a room. You want to take up space consciously and unconsciously, signaling to people that you are not afraid to be seen. One of my favorite things is to give other women compliments. I also love receiving compliments from women because I know that a confident woman is going to tell you that she likes the way that you look. She is not threatened by you. And that for me is such a sexy way of communicating your confidence. It makes you so much more attractive because you allow yourself to show that you're not threatened by another woman. You're not threatened by anybody else. So practice that. Practice giving compliments to people that you like the look of. Don't feel threatened by their presence because their presence is not dismissing of yours. It's not the absence of your beauty or your intelligence. And this helps reshape your mindset and what you believe is confidence, what you believe will communicate with other people, what you think of yourself. How
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying when she's saying about confidence, that's another thing he and his whatever she is to him, that's what they try to do. They try to break down my confidence, get petty and pick and poke at my looks and oh they call me a man and just other childish colloquialisms and things that just basically exhibit lack of extensive vocabulary and and just other name calling and other childish tactics that they like to do. So when they start that up, I just go, okay, if I'm a man, then then guess what? My shit bigger than yours. So what you want to do now about it? what we doing there? So again, that doesn't that doesn't hurt my feelings and things like that. Because again, you weren't talking like that 6 months ago. So I don't even believe that. So you can just stop with that lie. You just going with that crap because that's what she's saying. But again, I have no problem. Like, like my moms, even my friends and at home and things like that, my sisters, everybody. I'm like, yo, those sneakers are hot. Those sneakers are fire. You look pretty. Then Genesis, what did I tell you? Remember that I forgot who live that was in, and Jag just kept going in on you. She was just this, that, and the third, and just just calling you all kind of like nasty names and stuff. And what did I say to you in that chat? Do you like? I forgot whose chat that we were in, and I said Genesis, you are beautiful. I said, don't let nobody else break your confidence down. Don't let nobody come at you like that. This and the third. I'm like, especially ho, no edges having ass. I was like, no, don't let her talk to you any kind of way.
Right. I used to sit there and just take it. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's I was getting tired of that for you. I was getting so I was like, yo, if this lady don't cuss this lady, I swear I'm gonna cuss Genesis out. But I really wasn't gonna do it. But it was making me mad. I was like, no.
Listen, all like all the things when it comes down to being conscious or being a person of freaking. Like, okay, you're supposed to be on a higher frequency, tells you not to say nothing back,
Right.
Just allow them to say whatever and you don't respond.
Right.
But bullshit. Like, bro, if someone is attacking you, F them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I listen. You know what that is? That's going to cause you high blood pressure because
that part
you're holding back what you want to say,
right?
And it's a lot of. So I've been watching a lot of white people talking about like, okay, don't respond to this, don't respond to it, and the smartest person in the room is quiet. And so I was trying to exercise some of that BS that I've been like looking at and watching these like conscious videos about how to be other, what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be that,
I was even trying to take a little piece of advice from Michelle Obama. When they go low, we go high. Nah. We gotta go. Everybody gotta go in the gutter.
No, listen.
We gotta hang out in the gutter for a minute.
I'm not gonna stay low, but I'm gonna let you know.
Right.
I'm gonna go low and let you know, and I'm gonna go back up to my high point and be all right. Because because they don't understand nothing but like you getting with them and letting them know like stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's like a bully saying don't fight back to the bully.
Right.
You need to whoop his ass and let him know stop bullying me. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Right.
You gonna stop, but you gonna say this person's gonna take your lunch every day.
Right.
And you just gonna not say nothing.
Right.
And
Not say right.
Well, don't say nothing.
Right.
Yeah, yes. The highest form of conscious is self-love. And when someone is fooling with your self-love and make you feel lesser than, you need to whoop their ass.
Yep.
You need to be ready to like say, you know what? That's enough. There needs to be a limit of how much you're just willing to
tolerate.
You know what I'm saying? And because I've been like, listen, I have been trying I have been on all kind of videos.
Mm-hmm.
I could show you the video right now. The smartest person in the room doesn't say nothing. Don't let people don't respond back to demons. Don't say nothing to them. No, bump that. You need to be able to say, you know what? Don't you keep effing with me. Your life is over.
Right.
You need to scare these demons. You can't just a demon's attacking you and you just lay down and just don't say nothing. Let them attack you. No.
Right.
Listen. Even in the Bible, it say like I don't know. I'm making up. I'm about to lie and say
no. You was on to something. You was on to say just not.
Be like people be like you know what the blood of Jesus or something.
You fighting the spirit. You fighting the spirit.
Right. The blood of Jesus. You do something. You don't just don't say nothing.
Right. And
Oh no,
and
I'm not gonna
God's
say
word
nothing.
is your weapon, right? God's word is your weapon. You don't fight them in the flesh. You fight people in the spirit, because that's how you change people. And that's how you get people to get either you
And
going
you know what they
to
say? The
move away from
power
you.
of the tongue is like a sword.
Yep. Yes, it
Because
is.
they use their tongue against you with their sword, their mouth,
Yep.
and whatever they got to say.
Yep.
And for you, if you just sit back and let the, because here this is what I noticed, is that if you don't say nothing, they
Mm-hmm.
get an audience. The crowd begins to think what they think. Because we're not
Child.
just dealing with individuals, we're dealing with people that's on social media that have an
Yeah.
audience of people that are listening to what they have to say about you.
Listen. Listen. And that'll really mind melding them and really influencing them.
To
And you
feel the way that to believe in what they're saying about how you
and mind you,
shouts out, but no,
you
no,
may,
no. It may think you're right. The highest form of love is self-love.
yeah.
Conscious of self-love. So once you're able to love yourself, you don't
Yep.
care about what they got to say about you.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
However, when people are out here and they're throwing your name and running your name through the mud,
Mm-hmm.
you better stick up for yourself. Otherwise, if they have an audience, they're
Yep.
gonna have everybody else thinking the same thing about you,
Yep.
and then that can affect you. Like you never know if
Mentally.
somebody you get a job,
Right.
somebody might have heard this BS about what they're
Right.
saying.
Right. Your
You gotta
reputation,
nip
things
that
like that.
shit.
Yep.
There's
In the
certain
bud.
shit you gotta nip in the damn bud for
And
real. Like no,
that's where it
cut
really
all that bullshit. No, hell no, you're not fixing it. And
that's
people
where it
need to
really went
realize
left.
you ain't
That's where
somebody
it
to
really went
fucking
left.
play with.
That's where it really went left with us. Like that's where he really like turned his, I guess his representative, the mask fell off and the real him came out. Cause no, you're not, you and that broad are not gonna lie on me and put out any false narrative that you want. Y'all have people that I've never even interacted with in real life or on this internet don't like me on the strength that y'all just said something about me. So now they just believe in any old thing. Now let me just bust this receipt out on you real quick and show them that you're a liar. So when I expose him, then that's when he really turned up the heat on me. That part. But we can get back to the video though.
Right, I'm about to play it. Hold on.
Okay.
I
I
had to
think.
like come in here twice. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay. I was like Jennifer.
Yeah, I gotta pick up my kids at the same time as I do this live real quick. So let me
Okay,
play
got
it.
you. I got you.
All right, let me play it.
How you think of yourself. My last tip, which I feel like is not talked about enough, is to stop neglecting your anger. It may seem impolite to express your anger or show that you're angry, but it really isn't. It's a natural human emotion. And a lot of times when we're feeling disrespected or we're feeling neglected or we're feeling, especially when we're trying to counter people pleasing, giving yourself permission to feel the full spectrum of emotions is a way of connecting back with yourself and giving yourself permission to show up in the world and take up space in the way that you know you desire to. It's also a way of recognizing within yourself what you're not okay with, how people treat you, or what people say to you that you're not okay with, and then learning to express that in a healthy way with someone, to express your boundary because it is driven by that part of you that was angered in the first place. So if you made it this far into the video, first of all, I love you. And secondly, I hope that you walk away with something from this video that adds to your life in a positive way. I hope you also realize that being less polite is not about being more inconsiderate or being less intentional about the way that you connect with people. It's about reclaiming your energy and connecting with yourself in a way that is honest and true for you. When we stand up for ourselves, when we're honest with ourselves, we'll notice a shift within us, but also people notice that shift and people show up and interact with you differently because they know that you're thinking of yourself differently. You're showing up for yourself differently. It also means that setting boundaries becomes less daunting and we realize that the world is not going to end because we set a boundary or we said no to somebody. And yes, you meant to be with you, people who were taking advantage of your time, or people who are just no longer in alignment with you. But that is okay because not everybody is meant to be in your life. There are some people who are meant to leave your life in order to make space for other people who are more in alignment with you. So the next step, your homework, if you will, is I challenge you to pick one area of your life where you feel like you are people pleasing and practice saying no without guilt and without shame and notice how people respond to you. Notice the way that they treat you and what they feel towards you. Take what you've learned today and start small. But more importantly, remember that respect does start from the inside. Give yourself the love that you desperately desire. And I will see you in the next video.
That was super, super dope. That was super, super dope. She says, can you drop her link in the chat, please? So we can I would definitely like to put it in the description of my video. That's pretty dope. Oh no, it's crazy. And yeah, it's coming over here to troll. It's crazy work. Jiminy Crickets, you're doing it again. You guys are doing it again. Oh, Genesis must be in the car. Oh, there she go.
I'm about to like
Okay.
if anyone wants to come up, they can like do this. There's another video I'm gonna show after this, but just give me a chance. But give me like 5 minutes to go get my daughter and come back. But I'm gonna start playing it. Because I want you guys to like really see this. It's really important.
Okay.
Let me show y'all this.
All right.
It's a guy named Chase Hughes. I want you to check this out.
Let me
Okay.
show you why this is the most powerful thing that you're going to ever do to reach your goals. Step 1, describe the ideal and perfect outcome with vivid details and measurable elements that allow you to know when you have arrived. So this is like plotting a desired arrival point on a GPS. It's the address. It is the latitude and longitude of your destination. Then we move over to the right here. Write out your least desired outcome if nothing changes. If you just keep doing exactly what you've been doing all along. So we're going to describe in very vivid detail where you're going to arrive if you continue with your current habits, your behaviors, mindsets, and worldview. So imagine 2025, if you don't change a thing. Harsh? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely. So write it out. Your brain needs contrast, the dream versus the nightmare. And this is where your mind starts to crave the ideal because staying the same becomes unbearable. Next, we're going to write down milestones, habits, and new beliefs that are going to make accomplishing this goal a byproduct of all of these new traits. The goal accomplishment should always be looked at as what can I do to make my goals a natural byproduct of how I'm choosing to live my life? How can I make my goals a byproduct? So don't focus on the goal here. Focus on the habits and beliefs that make the goal a natural byproduct of who you are going to become. So goals are destinations, habits and behaviors are the vehicle to the goal. Next, we're going to write out a detailed and very maybe painful list of all the habits, beliefs, and behaviors that you might currently be doing that's going to make your least desired outcome come true. So this outcome will be a byproduct of these maybe negative or neutral traits and worldviews. Here's the truth though. Your habits today are building one of two futures. Write down all of those beliefs, those behaviors or habits that could just drag you toward the nightmare that you wrote down earlier. Make it painful because you need to feel the cost of your inaction. Next, we have mammalian brain programming. So how will you use the FATE model to brainwash yourself into getting into new habits, beliefs, worldviews, and mindset? So the FATE model is a system I developed to understand and use the 4 elements that make the mammalian brain start taking action on stuff. It's the most powerful tool to understand how to shape human behavior. And there's the most detailed tutorial in the world inside of the NCI textbook, and that's called the Behavior Operations Manual. It's on Amazon. If you want to learn how to use it on other people and conversations, let's get back to the goal setting part. This is about focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. So let's start with focus. Right here, we're going to write, how will you maintain focus on your goals at an animal level, at the mammalian level? Words don't work at this level, so imagery, massive amounts of novelty and changes in your environment and repetition are very important to the mammalian brain because of the reticular formation in the brain. Other people call this the reticular activating system. Whatever we repeat, the brain says, Chase wants more of this, or I want more of this. I'm going to search for it and search for it in life. And the questions our brain is asking about the environment determine what we see. So this is where the nonstop exposure to vision boards start to come in. And a vision board is a collection of visual images which are understandable to the mammalian brain since there's no words there. And these things represent your desires and goals. If you're in your office, get a big ass TV and just go buy an iPad or something that you could just duct tape to the back of the TV and put a slideshow of all of these. This is like 8, maybe 900 images just on repeat forever. That just goes on and on and on. Even while you're sleeping, you're not even in the office. It's on there when you walk in, it's on when you walk out. You leave that on to maximize that level of exposure, getting that done really well. So next on the list is authority. How are you going to leverage authority figures and social proof to ensure that your mammalian brain knows what you're doing is good, it's allowed, and it's very powerful? Now we move into tribe. This is about how can I involve my circle of friends in the achievement of all these new habits and beliefs. Get your friends and social circle very much involved. Make deals with them to keep you in check. Bring some accountability into the picture. Next, we get into emotion. How will I create the emotional attachments to this future self, my future self? One amazing way is to download one of those apps that makes you look really old and print those photos out. Hang them around your office, hang them around your house.
Okay, I'm back,
put them on your
y'all.
bathroom mirror. Even you can set the.
All right, y'all. So I know this is like just typical stuff. Mel, like, so have you gotten anything so far from what he's saying? What y'all need to do?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I mean, so from what he's saying, what do you think about what he's saying?
Oh, I'm kind of just listening. I'm kind of absorbing right now. It sounded like to me, what I'm getting so far from it is kind of like putting your mind in a positive space. You know what I mean? I guess bring your thoughts into fruition. He mentioned the vision board. So I was just like, I said, oh Lord, child, a vision board.
It's not just a vision board, but
Yeah, I love the vision boards.
right. So this is like setting goals for this year, because when it comes down to people pleasing, when it comes down to all this stuff, we have to like really reset our minds and really like think about how we're gonna like do things in the future. So that's really about what it's about. Letting go of negativity, letting go of people pleasing behavior.
Right.
All that. Let's go.
The photo
Okay.
as your phone or computer wallpaper. And this is done so that you develop a very visual and mammalian understanding and relationship with your future self. Because one of the huge problems is that people.
I didn't give you guys context. So this guy used to work for the CIA. All right. And he understands how to psychologically manipulate yourself because he's been a person that have done psychological manipulation to others, right? And he understands about psychological operations. He understands about how the brain works. He's a neurological something, or he's like he specializes in neurology. He talks about how he used to have a brain illness and he uses like methylene blue to like, because he had like some kind of like seizures that he was having. So he has this thing called the NCI Academy, and I've been actually like watching his stuff, and he talks about how to even just really what really comes down to dealing with human on human stuff, because the way the humans are now, it's just weird. So he has a whole academy. He's no longer in the CIA, and he created this whole academy to help human beings understand even how the agency and how like people in society are able to manipulate each other and how to overcome being manipulated, right? So these are just brainwashing techniques, right, that you can use on yourself to help you to be more successful. So this is what this is about.
Okay, may I ask one question though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like for some people, I mean, would you say that could kind of go both ways? As far as like if someone were to abuse that tactic and try to mind meld and manipulate the masses against somebody else, would you say that?
Well, that's why what he teaches you is how to recognize it and how to combat it and how not to be affected by it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because he has this one thing about, okay, let me just give you some. Just so you can just get an idea where this guy is coming from.
Right.
He's been a manipulator for so long, he knows the manipulation, right?
Gotcha. So he knows the tactics. I got you.
Right. So I'm gonna show a little bit about the PSYOP stuff, right?
Okay.
So here we go. The fate model. Okay, so let's just get into this. So just so you know where he's at when it comes. Hold on, let me just reload this. Sorry about that. I gotta reload. Sorry about that. I lost. Sometimes I don't know. StreamYard's been tripping lately. I lost sound, but I'm gonna like present this so you guys get an idea. This is not about Melanie. Why is everybody like focused on that? I have Melanie up here. Melanie's she's a person. She's a human being. Like, what are we talking about right here? Why are you entertaining Melanie? Still talking about these folks? Well, she's talking about what happened to her to make her feel the way she felt. There's nothing personal about it. It's just that's how it made her feel. It's not that big of a deal. That's how she felt. You know, everybody, we're talking about how things made us feel. When we're talking about like how being a people pleaser and how in that situation she felt like she was people pleasing, and that's how she felt.
Right. Don't worry about it, DJ Genesis. Don't worry about it. That's just incoming opinion and her friends. Hey, why don't you hit the video? It's fine. See how I called y'all out?
Right, you know, what the heck?
Is responding with decisive action.
Don't come over here no other time.
The American people share my deep belief that if a danger exists in the world, it is a danger shared by all.
We need to actually double down on the public health measures.
You can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
We'd like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to
That's
answer.
why I asked it.
It's very simple to you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Most people have no awareness of how easily our behavior and even our identity can be completely taken over. But people are waking up. I spent 20 years in the U.S. military. I'm a behavior expert. I've trained PsyOps. I'm the best-selling author in behavioral psychology. I want to show you exactly how to identify what we call engineered reality, or what some people call PsyOps. At the end of this, I'm going to give you a tool that's literally going to give you a score out of 100 that shows you how likely something is to be a PSYOP. Let's do this. So the first thing you need to know is following the FATE model: focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. This is what triggers the mammalian part of our brain that makes all of our real decisions. The first part is focus. PSYOPs always aim to hijack your attention with repetition, shocking visuals of fear-inducing scenarios. Some examples are like 24/7 media coverage of a crisis, or constant repetition of terms like unprecedented. So with this, pause and ask, why is this message being pushed so aggressively? So compare how much airtime different stories are receiving and note any disproportionate focus. The second part here is authority. Trusted figures might shift their tone or positions unnaturally to support the narrative. So watch very closely for expert panelists or endorsements where authority figures might speak outside of their expertise. Pay close attention to that one. Then we have tribe. So messages that polarize opinions or create stark in-groups versus out-groups, or exploit our tribal instincts. For example, labeling groups as patriots versus traitors, or scientific versus deniers. Be very careful when you hear that language. Finally, we have emotion. So be wary of any communication that triggers strong emotions like fear, hope, or outrage without any clear, verifiable evidence. So emotional responses suppress critical thinking. Emotional responses suppress critical thinking. So as a tip here, analyze the evidence that's presented to you. If facts are replaced by appeals to emotion, you need to be very, very cautious. As an example of this, think about like a news channel repeatedly showing images of empty grocery shelves and panicked shoppers during a food supply scare. It dominates every broadcast and it pushes people into fear-driven behavior. Next, question novelty. Our brains are wired to focus on sudden or unusual changes because they signal potential threats or opportunities. And this is an evolutionary survival mechanism. PSYOPs exploit this by creating events that break normal expectations, like unexpected crises or dramatic revelations. So ask yourself, why is this new? So consider if the event or somebody's message has been artificially manufactured or timed. Look for patterns like sudden shifts in public opinion, trending hashtags that are unusual, or viral videos that seem very coincidental. So for this one, just picture a new viral video just claims to expose a government cover-up, but it conveniently comes out the exact same day that there's some damaging evidence against some high-ranking official. The timing shifts public focus. All of this is part of the NCI system I developed for teaching tradecraft and extreme psychological operations. And there's even a gigantic textbook for all of this stuff in the description. Definitely not for everybody, but it's definitely the most comprehensive guide in the world on this stuff. So
Can y'all hear anything? I can't hear.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I've been talking. I'm sorry. I was talking this
Okay.
whole time. So yeah, so
Oh.
he's an ex-CIA agent who I found him on. You ever heard of Diary of a CEO?
No.
Yeah, so it's a they're talking about Elon Musk. They're talking about, but Diary of a CEO is that deal. So I
Okay.
found him right there, and he, like I said, he's an ex-CIA agent who, like I said, used to like operate in this level. So now he's giving the information out. Okay, look, this is how you know when you're in a psyop. This is how you know when things are not real and you are just being emotionally triggered, right? So you had this whole thing, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and all this stuff. That's a psyop. Based on the fate model that he's talking about, that whole thing is a psychological operation to draw your attention away from what's really going on in the world. And that's
Gotcha.
what I found out. So that's why that's why I've been really like on this guy. So check him out.
next item, look for multiple sources. Centralized narratives create an echo chamber, and they silence dissent and they narrow perspectives. For example, if all media outlets present identical talking points, it is a humongous red flag. So actively seek out contrarian or independent voices, even if they challenge something that's already in your head. In reality, an example, during a maybe breaking health crisis, all the major news outlets report on the exact same study, but independent researchers reveal the study was funded by a company selling the solution. So watch for that group speak. Next is identify cognitive dissonance weapons. Let's talk about how this works. So cognitive dissonance comes up when new information clashes with our identity or our beliefs. So PSYOPs exploit the hell out of this by including micro agreements. Micro agreements are little, small, seemingly harmless concessions to shape your identity. And over time, you're going to unconsciously align your behavior to reduce that internal conflict. And as a weaponization example of this, a PSYOP might present you as a part of moral or intelligent enlightenment, like only good citizens do XYZ. If you disagree with that, you risk some identity conflict there. So reflect on your identity and ask, am I being nudged to identify with some other group? So be very careful of any campaigns that are asking for seemingly minor commitments. They're like signing petitions, changing your profile picture that evolves into some bigger compliance or demand later. As an example of this, let's say a company launches an ad campaign and they claim real patriots buy local. If you disagree with their product, it feels like rejecting your identity as a patriot. So this pushes you to conform. Be very, very skeptical about those identity statements. Next is looking for those emotional scripts. And what I mean by this is the scripts that were written in our brains by our ancestors. So manipulated narratives trigger instincts like the fear of loss or scarcity, social rejection, or danger. For example, a media story about food shortages might activate survival scripts that cause panic buying and stuff like that. And we have scarcity fear. This is sudden warnings about limited resources like water or medicine. Also sparks that kind of behavior. And then
now we're going through a lot of psyops. Okay, you have the Trump DEI psyop, you have like the P Diddy psyop, you have the Jay-Z psyop, and you have certain people that are like involved in these psychological operations, right?
Right.
So Jaguar's a part of a psyop.
I was just going to ask you, do you think Lamisha and all them, all this to throw everything off with the Diddiness and all this in the Atwoods and all
that's a psychological operation. And I'm trying to let y'all know y'all have been involved with a psychological operation. And then there's like then there's the fires in LA, and then you have what's her name? Carter, whatever her name is, Carter.
Allie Carter. Mm-hmm.
And then her mom gets up there. Now everybody's watching that. You're watching this. You're watching that. You're watching all these like different things, right? Mm-hmm. All these things are like on your timeline. Like me, I know if I watch a certain thing, my whole timeline fills up with
it turns into that.
That's psychological. That is psychological operations. And see, like that's another thing is that so I got into like the people pleasing aspect, right? And so here's the thing: people that are really probably, I would say, more susceptible to a psyop are the ones that are like this. The people pleasers, right? People that are very empathetic to others.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? People that are
Right.
empathetic, that feel what other people's pain is, whatever. They get you wrapped up into this, and then now you're watching a whole group of you go down a rabbit hole of whatever the subject matter is.
Right.
You feel for this you feel for this, right?
Right.
And so you sit there and you'll be watching this, and then oh my god, Allie Carter, your whole like timeline.
I'm gonna turn into that. Yeah.
Everything
I
is
kid you
Allie
not.
Carter, right? And
Since since that story has come out, I'm getting all kind of different content creators. You know, I've never heard of everything. Allie Carter, Diddy this, Allie Carter, Diddy that. Let me see this, that. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I need a break.
It's meant to take you. And so, what this guy is trying to get you to do is to what you're going to see is he on this other thing about goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's really talking about getting outside of all this stuff, getting outside of just even being online. You know what I'm saying? Go outside, go exercise, do this, do that. Like, don't get so caught up online and all this other crazy, because of what they're doing is they're manipulating you mentally.
So kind of like retraining your mindset almost a little piece. Like
exactly. So
Got you.
I didn't just want to like just talk about us being people pleasers. I wanted to go get into the
how to give us the tools to help us do that and retrain our minds. I got you. I'm with you.
Exactly. So people are saying, well, why you got this person up here? It doesn't even matter who's up here. Do you get the message? What about forget the message? What's the message I'm trying to bring about?
And again,
situation?
Right. And again, that's my message. And again, you're giving me the tools, because thank you for introducing me to both videos, because I didn't know about these videos. So now I can definitely watch them and see how they apply to my situation. So whoever's upset about my situation, you need to maybe watch them and apply them to your own situation.
Exactly. It's not
I appreciate you, Genesis. Thank you, Kylie.
Here we go. Let's go into it.
We have tribal rejection. These are threats of being socially outcast, like you're selfish if you don't comply. And those things override logic every time. And as a tip for this, break the script by focusing on the facts. Like, what's the likelihood of this scenario? So compare the claims with other sources. For this, just picture where a politician says something like, if we don't act now, our children will not have a future. This taps into survival instincts, those ancestor scripts in our head. And it's tied to protecting offspring. It creates urgency without any facts. Next is follow the money. So there's a trail of beneficiaries here. So identifying who benefits always is going to reveal the motive. So look for funding sources like sponsorships or political connections that are tied to the narrative. So use tools like opensecrets.org or public financial records to see who profits from this. So for policies or campaigns, identify the industries like pharmaceuticals, tech companies, etc., that stand to gain the most. So to illustrate this in your mind right now, picture a charity that's promoting clean energy awareness, and they seem noble until an investigations are showing that it's funded by a solar panel corporation that's lobbying for subsidies or something like that.
Right.
Next, and this one is very important, is analyze the context boundary. The mechanism here.
Wait, before we even get into that, all right, so you had LA Fires, follow the money. They're building a smart city. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. I definitely, when I saw that, and again, my heart and thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in LA, from top celebrities to the average person, even to the prisoners that are assisting the firefighters that are out there, everybody that's fighting those fires. But when I saw that, when it first broke out, the first thing, I kid you not, the first thing that came to my mind was I thought about Hawaii and how they burn Hawaii down. And I was like,
right. And then you ain't heard about Hawaii since.
You ain't heard about Hawaii since. And
that's another thing he mentions in this whole thing. Is that it hits real hard and then it disappears.
Yeah. And when
hit, everybody talking about and then all of a sudden you don't hear about it.
And threw the rock and threw the rock and Oprah under the bus, and then you don't hear from them either. Like,
you understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. Yeah. So all this stuff. And what they're doing is so you think, oh, it's the black YouTube. No one cares about what we're talking about. No, they're doing that to us too, but they're doing it in like another
form. Gotcha.
So here we go. Let's go.
Yep.
Here is context, and context defines what is permissible. So manipulative people shift contexts to normalize extreme behavior. As an example of this, in emergencies, People accept surveillance or martial law that they normally would completely resist. So ask, what is the context? Compare some similar events in different settings to see if the rules or responses seem disproportionate. Look for contradictions. So for lots of the students who are brand new to NCI University, this right here is the most massive realization when they realize that the ability to weaponize cognitive dissonance and then shift the context can get anyone to do almost anything. As a hypothetical example of this, let's say there's a major cyber attack. The governments are now justifying some sweeping surveillance laws to protect the citizens. This changes the context to make previously unacceptable actions seem absolutely necessary. Next, spot the use of archetypes because they're woven into our brains. PsyOps simplify narratives by using archetypes like heroes and villains and saviors. Some examples are like portraying one leader as the sole solution or demonizing dissenters as the enemy. Deconstruct the story. Ask who are the characters and what roles are they playing. Simplistic, like good versus evil stories usually signal manipulation just about every time. So always seek nuance there. In the real world, you're going to see something like maybe a leader is repeatedly portrayed as a savior fighting something that's pure evil, and the narrative ignores their mistakes and oversimplifies the conflict to prevent a lot of scrutiny. Next, evaluate the frame. So let's do a step-by-step evaluation here. First one is expectation. What are you expected to believe or do based on this thing that you're exposed to in the media? Next is belief. What assumptions are being made about you, like your values or your fears? Then we have perception. So how is reality being shaped, like selective facts or missing contexts? And definition is the final step here when it comes to a frame. What truth is being asserted as something that's completely unchallengeable? This comes up with information suppression. So really look for topics that are being avoided, critics that are being silenced. If somebody needs to be silenced in order for an idea to make it, then the idea is not good. So alternative viewpoints being discredited, that's a big one to look out for. So cross-check timelines of events and notice if critics are labeled conspiracists or if algorithms are suppressing some kind of specific search. And this is a big one, especially in today's time. So to get a good example of this, during maybe a corporate scandal, the company's PR team frames these critics as disgruntled employees with a grudge. So this shifts the focus away from the legitimate concerns to the motives of the critics. And it does it almost without us realizing that that's happening in our brain. So next, be alert to rapid compliance shifts. This one is scary and it's happening every day. PsyOps create urgency to drive rapid compliance. And these tactics are stuff like emotional appeals, staged group behaviors, or false consensus. For this, it's really important to slow down and resist the pressure to act, to question the conformity as much as possible, and test the message, engaging the skeptics there. So in the real
Man, that's crazy. This nigga's really he's really the spook who sat by the door to go into this organization and then come out and tell all the business like this. But I think that people when they like join the military and they learn stuff. I don't know nobody that leave these organizations and be happy. You know what I'm saying? They like, man, what the heck have I been doing my whole life?
Right.
And I think that's really what's going on with him. He like, man, I was in this thing this whole time, and I'm like, well, what are we doing here?
Do you think it's kind of like a little piece of I know it's not like NCIS, but do you think it gets a little bit like some part of those agencies reflect or mirror a bit of like that whole Jason Bourne type situation, like kind of like that?
100%. And you know that those movies actually have to actually go to the CIA to get
right, and you have to study those things. Just right, you have to study.
They actually get access to classified actual real CIA agents that help them make those movies.
Make those movies, right? Because they have to actually
they actually get access to I think it's Langley Air Force Base.
Gotcha.
Where the actual directors and writers go there and learn to make sure that when they actually do those movies,
right?
Because they don't want it to. There's a whole part of Hollywood that's connected to the U.S. government, the military, and the CIA.
Right. No, because I was watching like a.
And if you go on the CIA website, they actually admit it. They have to tell you. They have to tell you what they're doing.
Right.
So listen, some people will say, "Well, he's a CIA. How can we trust him?" They have to tell you what they're doing.
Right. Yeah, because
they have to tell you what they're doing. They can't just do it because whatever rule there is. I don't know what rule that is.
Right.
That they have to tell you what they're doing, but there is a rule that they have to tell you what they're doing before they do it. So he's letting you know what they're doing.
But I'm
sure the CIA have to know that he's telling everybody this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. My next question is: do you think they're telling everybody everything?
I not. Of
Yeah,
course not.
yeah, okay. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Play the
They're
video.
telling us this, and they're probably even like on to the next thing where they're probably like
Right,
using some goddamn beam to like shoot things into our mind. Who knows? But
right,
bottom line is like right now, on the surface level, this is what's happening. He letting us know about this. There's
Right.
probably something else going on that's way more fucking weird than we even know. You know what I'm saying? But they've allowed him to like bring this part out
right.
because you can't, because once you're okay. I was in the military, right? Once
Mhm.
in the military, always in the military. There's no like no you
Right.
were. I took an oath, so therefore I'm still considered a veteran. So therefore, and I still get veteran benefit. I'm still military, right?
Yep. And thank you for your
Same thing.
service.
Thank you. Same thing with him. He was once CIA. He was once military. Always military. So because
Right.
you know what
I
I'm
got
saying.
you. I got you. I got you.
So let's go. Let's listen to it.
The world, this might look like maybe a viral social media challenge urges all these users to adopt this brand new symbol or profile picture or hashtag kind of overnight, and it creates a wave of compliance. So later, this is kind of like a foot in the door technique. It's tied to some divisive political agenda. Next, study the timing of the events, and this one's huge, especially right now. Timing is everything. Ask yourself, why is this happening now? So what other events or scandals might this thing be distracting everybody from? So look for very coincidental timing with unrelated major news stories or political movements. PSYOPs can very often be smoke screens. And in real life, you might see stuff like a huge celebrity breakup floods all of the headlines. Exactly.
See how he hit up on that? He showed that, right? Y'all see that? Did you see what he just put up there? Are y'all really paying attention? What he's showing y'all, but if you ain't paying attention, you'll miss it. You listen to what he's saying, but also look what he's showing you.
Mm-hmm.
You see what he put up there, right?
Can you go back just a hot second?
I'm gonna
I
go
kinda
up.
missed it.
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back. Watch this. He's talking about this, but watch the screen. What he's
That comes up.
now.
Okay.
So what other events or scandals might this thing be distracting everybody from? So look for very coincidental timing with unrelated major news stories or political movements. PSYOPs can very often be smoke screens. And in real
PSYOPs could be smoke screens. He puts this up. You understand what I'm saying?
Like when TikTok was in there, everybody was going all in the uproar.
It was a whole PSYOP.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
People need to like pay it. So here's the thing: is that we're people are so worried about what you talking to her about this. Why you no? This is a lot bigger than just what happened to her in that situation. It's manipulation across the board. We talked about individualism manipulation.
Right.
Now we're getting into manipulation across the board when it comes even down to
over the masses. Right. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So they can kind of like puppeteers almost and manipulate us and make us move how they want us to move. I got you.
Exactly. But if you just get caught up in the story, you won't never see it. You won't see it happening before your eyes.
Right. I got you.
And you never know what content creators are like even
down with it. I got you.
You understand?
life, you might see stuff like a huge celebrity breakup floods all of the headlines exactly as some major investigative report about government corruption is about to be released. Coincidence? Probably not. The next thing I want you to do is to sharpen your brain to start hearing and understanding these manipulation tactics. And one of the biggest things that you can do, the most effective way that I could train you right now, just you and me, is to teach your brain to recognize logical fallacies. So let's go through these, because PSYOPs very often use these flawed arguments to convince people. And if you know how to spot them, it makes you a lot harder to manipulate. Let me give you 10 of these so that your brain gets hardwired to start seeing everything a whole lot differently. So the first one that you're going to see all the time, appeal to emotion. So this uses fear and anger and hope to bypass logic. So like, if you don't support this, children are going to suffer. Next is the straw man argument. This misrepresents somebody's argument so they can attack it better. So somebody might say they oppose the lockdowns because they don't care about lives. Think about that one. Number 3 is the bandwagon fallacy. So this claims that something is true because everyone supports it. And this is, you hear this all the time. Millions of people agree with X, Y, and Z. You should agree with it too. Number 4 is the false dilemma. This presents only two extreme options, and it ignores alternatives. So it's the either you're with us or you're against us fallacy there. Number 5 is the ad hominem attacks. This is the attack of the person and not the argument. Be very observant for this. So this is when you hear you can't trust her. She's not a scientist. You can't do X because they're not qualified based on X. Ad hominem is very common, and I want your brain to be able to spot it. Number 6 is appeal to authority. And this is a claim that something is true because an authority figure said so. So like Dr. X supports it, so it's absolutely right. You have to trust the science. Number 7 is
Or
the slippery slope.
content creator
These are
X.
claims that one action is going to lead to some extreme negative outcome. So you've heard this before. Somebody says something like, if we allow this, we're going to lose all of our freedoms. All of our freedoms are gone. The country is gone. All of that kind of talk like that. Be very attuned to when you hear that and very cautious when you hear that. Number 8, hasty generalizations. And these are broad claims that are made with very little evidence. So the example is 2 politicians lied, so all of them must be corrupt. So giant claim, tiny bit of evidence. 2 politicians might have lied, so they're all corrupt. Number 9 is huge. It's the red herring. So this distracts people with irrelevant information. You've heard this maybe as an example when somebody says, why are we worrying about climate change when we have so much crime going on right now? It's an argument of distraction. Number 10 is false equivalence. This compares 2 things as equals when they're absolutely not equal. So you'll hear somebody say something in the news that both sides have extremists, so they're exactly the same. That's a very damaging one. I know there's a lot of information here, so I want to give you access to the actual tool that we use to identify psyops that even rates the likelihood.
I've been talking my ass off, and y'all
I
can't
was
hear.
about to say, Genesis, I think you muted.
Right. So, I'm not for race, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for the only listen to the to the black people. You know what I'm saying? We need to like be on these platforms that don't care about the race, right?
Right,
We
right,
need
right.
to hear what these people are saying. Y'all need to go on other stuff. Don't only be watching what P Diddy doing and what this person who cares about what all that bull stuff. We need to like be like on this, okay?
Right.
Don't you know what I'm saying? We need to be talking like what are they talking about? Because that's what's keeping them ahead.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What they're talking about is what's keeping them past us, right? Where we're over here in the dust, we need to be like, okay, what are the like things that they're watching? What are they like talking about?
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Because really like
Absolutely.
that, you understand what I'm saying? So
Right, we have to come outside of our element. We have to come. We have to be. I will say just be open to hearing information and again get you know what I'm saying, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Get the information that you need from it, and also make you know what I'm saying. See if it can, you know what I'm saying, see if it's proven, this and the third, or if that person is speaking on the facts, or they, first of all, he's worked in that agency, you know what I'm saying, so he has firsthand knowledge of that. So you know what I'm saying, and not to say
why wouldn't we listen to, why wouldn't we hear what
right.
he got to say at least?
Or at least hear what he got to say. That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to say it like that to go against the grain of what he just said. You know, just don't take his word for it just because he, you know what I'm saying, he's saying.
But no, here we gotta say, and then
right.
do some research, look
and
into it,
right, and do your own research, right.
But the thing is that our community have just been I know me, you know, I tend to be more, you know, focused on what the black people are saying and not so much, but you know, me and my walk have been more like, okay, let me find out what's going on over here. You know what I'm saying? And what I found out is that we need to be looking at what's going on over here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. Well, we need to like, what's going on over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, first I say, well, what's going on over here? Finally, what's going on over here? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? So we need to like be looking at what they're telling us because they are telling people what's up. But if
right.
you don't look at it, you don't watch it, you don't find out.
Exactly. Exactly.
So let's go into the focus, authority, tribe, emotion. Let's go.
Tribe and emotion.
Okay.
So let's
What's
start
up,
with
everybody?
focus.
Thank y'all for
Right
coming.
here, we're going to write, how will you maintain focus on your goals at an animal level, at the mammalian level? Words don't work at this level. So imagery, massive amounts of novelty and changes in your environment and repetition are very important to the mammalian brain because of the reticular formation in the brain. Other people call this the reticular activating system.
See, who was talking about this in the Black community?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But let me tell
Right.
you something. Let me tell you, they do, like, okay, in E5, they'll do certain stuff, but they don't tell you the science behind it.
Right.
But what
Right.
happened is that when I practice E5 and then I look at this, I said, oh, that's what they're doing. When you combine things and actually research more deeper and find out what other people are doing, and you bring it to what you know, you say, oh, that's what's happening.
You know, unfortunately, sometimes, and again, I'm not saying it's a race thing, but I'm just saying maybe an intellectual intellect thing. You get some people that, well, I heard, and people don't really want to do the deep dive and do the research.
Exactly.
Some people just don't
So
want to.
that's why I said, let me just start bringing this information. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and I appreciate that, Genesis, because you putting us on, and shout out to everybody in the chat. You really are. You putting us on. I like it when we get into these topics. Makes my brain work better.
Man, listen, and be dropping. He be dropping the jewels, bro.
I
Watch.
see.
Listen, there's one thing where he talked about how he has this epilepsy thing that went on. Listen, I've been taking this thing called methylene blue, right? Now, methylene blue,
Mhm.
when I looked into it, found out it was the same thing that Jamaicans put in a bath called blue anil. So we've been using it, but they just found out about it. And now it's like, oh, this is a new discovery, and I'm like, no.
We just not hip to it.
Like, people wash their clothes in it. In the islands, the Caribbean, they be using blue anil. It's those little blue squares, like, to make your clothes white. You could take a bath in it. You can actually drink it, and well, not that. Well, I don't know. You probably could drink it too. They actually did say you could drink it, but I'm finding out so much information by comparing. What I'll do is I'll listen to what he says, and then I try to compare it to what we're saying over here in the esoteric community, in the Black community, and like, oh, okay, they're just now finding out about this, but they're using the scientific aspect. So what they're doing is they are validating what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because what other people say, oh, that's witchcraft, right? Taking a blue bath, what we call it a blue bath, taking that blue anil, which is really like what's it called? What's the name of the color? It's blue. There's a name for the color. I forget what it is. Blue anil. Look it up. Blue ANIL.
Gotcha.
Not violet. It's a color for it, but I can't. Indigo. Gotcha. So people use indigo to ward off evil spirits and for protection, right? You can like take the blue anil, put it into your mop water and all this stuff. This same blue anil helped him to overcome epilepsy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was drinking it and it made him overcome epilepsy. It has other properties that actually, even borax. I found out borax, all this stuff. So what I've been doing is, like, over here they're talking about like it from a scientific level, and over here we think it's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. But you taking a bath in this blue thing, you don't. But we don't. But now we find out there's a scientific thing that says that, you know what? Because really, what is a spell? What is negative energy, right? Right. And then you put yourself. All it is like within yourself, right? So if you take a bath in this methylene blue helps out your mitochondrial DNA. Like this is what they're finding out.
Right.
It helps your mitochondria. When you drink this, and you combine it with other therapies and
not that stuff in the cells. Oh no, they don't.
It is. So, but we've been doing it for the longest time, just taking baths in it, cleaning our house. Right. We don't even realize what we probably do. I don't know. Maybe some really super duper high up priest knows what it is. We just been doing it for the longest time, but didn't even know what the reason was. We just know our grandma did it, right? but they're finding out about it. And they're like, oh no, there's a scientific basis on what they've been doing.
Well,
So now I'm putting all this stuff together. Like, oh, so what's happening is we've been doing all this stuff. They are finally figuring out the science for it, and they're putting it on YouTube and letting everybody know about it.
Right, I got you. But just for disclaimer purposes, before y'all drink any blue chemicals, please consult your local physician. Just a disclaimer. That's all. Okay, that's all.
Well, physicians actually methylene blue is actually found in the emergency room when a person is poisoned. My nurse, actually, I hope she's still here. Emathias, she's a nurse, and she says, yeah, methylene blue is actually in the cabinets of the hospital. If someone gets poisoned, and there's nothing else that will help them, they give them methylene blue, and the methylene blue clears up the poison. So all this stuff is things that the medical things knew and know, but they are not. Their whole thing is not to cure you. Their whole thing is to keep
to keep the medicine going. We know how the pharmaceutical companies go.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, I got you. You know. But Genesis, I just wanted to so my moms can drop it in the chat. What's the name of his channel? Can you drop the link in the chat? So we can,
sure. Hold on.
Yeah, so we can I want to put in the description of my video as well to give him the proper credit. This is some dope information. This is some dope information.
It's Chase Hughes Official. I'm gonna put it in there right now.
Okay, thank you, Genesis. I appreciate you.
When I put it in mine, I don't think it goes to yours. You have to like.
Oh yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, I could take it in and send it to mine.
I didn't get to send you the other lady's video yet, but I'll find it and and put it back in there.
I got you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's go.
Whatever we repeat, the brain says, Chase wants more of this, or I want more of this. I'm going to search for it and search for it in life. And the questions our brain is asking about the environment determine what we see. So this is where the nonstop exposure to vision boards start to come in. And a vision board is a collection of visual images which are understandable to the mammalian brain since there's no words there. And these things represent your desires and goals. If you're in your office, get a big ass TV and just go buy an iPad or something that you could just duct tape to the back of the TV and put a slideshow of all of these. This is like 8, maybe 900 images just on repeat forever. That just goes on and on and on. Even while you're sleeping, you're not even in the office. It's on there when you walk in, it's on when you walk out. You leave that on to maximize that level of exposure, getting that done really well. There's a million videos on how to make vision boards and stuff like that. So next on the list is authority. How are you going to leverage authority figures and social proof to ensure that your mammalian brain knows what you're doing is good, it's allowed, and it's very powerful? Now we move into tribe. This is about how can I involve my circle of friends in the achievement of all these new habits and beliefs. Get your friends and social circle very much involved. Make deals with them to keep you in check. Bring some accountability into the picture. Next, we get into emotion. How will I create the emotional attachments to this future self, my future self? One amazing way is to download one of those apps that makes you look really old and print those photos out. Hang them around your office, hang them around your house, put them on your bathroom mirror. Even you can set the photo as your phone or computer wallpaper. And this is done so that you develop a very visual and mammalian understanding and relationship with your future self. Because one of the huge problems is that people don't prioritize their future selves because it's hard to imagine. They can't see their future self. So we make this happen. This is also another entry point for your vision board. So the more imagery you have on there, the more powerful the emotion is going to start to seep into the mammalian brain, which is going to start changing your worldview and your life. The mammalian brain is where it's at, not the words and all this stuff with the human brain that we always hear about. So the 3 highest leverage new habits to adopt is the next step here. Right here, we're going to develop a deeply powerful list of the most impactful and meaningful new habits that can start and enable all the other things to happen, just like dominoes. Remember that starting a habit only requires discipline for a short period of time. Once it's a new habit, you don't need daily discipline anymore. So keep in mind that it's okay to start small on these habits, and there doesn't need to be some massive shift right away. It might be waking up early, maybe an hour early to get things done, or buying more healthy food, or going on walks more often, practicing mindfulness, meditating, therapy, making more content, building better calendars and plans for yourself or
Man, okay, I had to interrupt this. Let me just show you an example, okay? You know that they said that if they actually took a sky view of you, that you do the same thing every single day. You probably go to the place, go over here. Like me, if they took a sky view of me, I get up, I take my kids to school, I come back home, I work, and then I go and I get my kids from school and I come back home. And
right.
So he's saying is that get out of routine, right?
Right.
So that's what I really noticed, that even E5, right? Like, so, all right, when you go in, I'm bringing up, I'm telling you guys about my religion, but really what happens is when you become a priest, right? What they do is you have to go over to Africa, or you go to Cuba, or you might be in America. But for that time frame, they're taking you out of your routine, right?
Right.
So and then they do something that you normally wouldn't do, and this actually it changes your trajectory. You know what I'm saying? Because if say that you just do this thing every day that you're supposed to do,
right.
One day you're meant to have a car accident on your way there, but maybe for that 1 week you don't do that,
right?
And then you start to walk to the school, right? Now that whole thing, now you've changed your actual thing. So when they talk about the multiverse, they talk about the multiple so the part of you that did this every single day and did this, that died with that time frame, that timeline. The timeline you were on did the same thing every single day, but then you change the time, you do something a little bit different, and now that part of you is no longer. And now you might walk to school one day, you might drive, you might do this, you do this. So now things are a little bit different, right?
Right.
And so you die on that timeline of the person that just did the same thing every single day. So when they talk about the multiple universe, the multiverse, right? It's about the you. There's different aspects of you that no longer exist anymore, right? So if you go back to who you are now and who you were in your 20s, that person, you're no longer that person. You don't even that person doesn't exist anymore.
Gotcha.
That person changed. You're no longer you. If you tried to go back to who and do things that you did in your 20s, you'd be like, "What am I doing?" You know what I'm saying? So we are constantly evolving. Our timelines are constantly shifting. The person that we were constantly shifts within our timeline. The thing is that if you get stuck in the same timeline, you never evolve. You cease to exist. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just letting y'all know that's what it is. It's like you understand, like, because you have to be constantly evolving, constantly changing, constantly like changing your environment. That's even what it said in the 48 laws of power. Always change who you are. That's power. That's what makes you. That's how you become more powerful. Is you don't stay in the same way of doing everything every single time.
Right.
That old person passes on, and now you become a new person.
New person. I got you.
anything else that you think is going to be a linchpin to get you going in the right direction. Now we move into the actual brainwashing formula, and this is literally a formula for brainwashing, but we're going to use it on ourselves to make some badass changes happen in our lives. So we're going to develop new habits using this brainwashing formula. And this formula spells out the word fear, F-E-A-R, and this stands for focus, emotion, agitation, and repetition. So in the focus part, how am I going to keep these habits in my daily focus where there is no way that I can possibly ignore them? Then we get into emotion. How am I going to bring these habits into an emotional realm where I'm deeply emotionally connected to all of them? Then we get into agitation. This is very important. How will I disrupt my environment enough so that my mammalian brain has no script to fall back on? It doesn't look normal. It doesn't look like the regular everyday stuff. And the novelty is forcing my brain to pay attention. We did a whole nother YouTube video on this. What can I do to disrupt my brain's prediction centers? I might rearrange furniture in my house. For some clients, they repainted the inside of their house. They maybe bought a new car. They changed up their wardrobe, et cetera, et cetera.
So the bottom line is, if you find yourself, okay, because if you find yourself in a routine, you know, change your routine regularly. That's how you evolve. You know what I'm saying? Let go of negative cycles. You know what I'm saying? Don't especially if you come home, drink a beer, you know, whatever, smoke some weed, whatever. Okay, go outside and go to the park one of them times.
Right.
So instead of coming home and doing that, go to the park and play on the monkey bars with your kid one day. And do that about 3 times. That is going to disrupt your cycle. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a negative cycle. So that's the main thing. Get comfortable. Get comfortable getting out of your comfort zone. Ashe. Thank you so much. I know Melody has another live she's about to start. I'm going to. I really want you to see this one thing about this methylene blue situation, but with this same guy. But I know you gotta like take care of this, whatever. But how much longer do you have before you have to go on your thing?
Well, I actually rescheduled it twice because I was still up here, so that's why I didn't want to start that live too late.
Oh, okay. When did it start?
5:45.
Oh, okay. So I probably can show y'all this real quick before we go, because I really want y'all to see this, okay? Because methanol, it's methanol. I thought it was methylene blue, methanol blue. I want y'all to check this out because here we go.
Is the inside of my brain. And this is a blue substance which might have saved my life. And I'm going to show you how all this happened and how it might save the life of somebody that you know. 9 months ago, my brain was eating itself alive and I was having about 9 seizures a day. There were periods I didn't even know who my wife was. This is my family. And this is my new daughter, Hannah. She is 7 months old now. Hannah was born on Christmas Eve in 2023. My memory was failing so fast that I slipped into a depression. I cried when no one was around.
Man, this is a crazy story. Please pay attention to this, because if anyone's going through depression or any like neurological issue, this I believe could listen, I don't know, but just watch it and y'all spit out the bones and take the meat, blah blah blah.
Trigger warning.
My own family would become strangers that I didn't recognize. And the seizures almost always came with a huge dose of amnesia. So I wasn't fully aware that I was having them. And I find out later that people had been seeing me have these seizures for about 3 years. And I've been studying neuroscience and neuroendocrinology for years. So my family assumed I would know if something was wrong. I was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy with a possibility of something else called mesial temporal sclerosis. And when this happened, I got prescribed a drug to treat the symptoms, to stop me from having seizures. And I asked about drugs that could reverse the damage to my brain or drugs that could stop the underlying cause of the seizures. And I got nothing. The prescription I was given had a long list of side effects, but the most common side effect of that prescription was seizures, actual seizures. I was desperate and scared and spent some time crying and praying to God to help me with all of this. And I read through about 1,000 research papers. I watched 100 videos on brain health and ways that we could potentially stop what's going on and hopefully reverse all the crap that was happening. And in the midst of all of this, I'm terrified. I won't be able to work or support my family. I'm setting up life insurance. I had no idea who's going to feed my kids and take care of my family if my brain keeps just essentially eating itself. There was no way to tell if my brain was about to collapse like some Jenga tower. And during all this, I'm having to still be on TV, film YouTube videos, and essentially just pretend like everything is totally fine. So later, I'm on a plane to Los Angeles. About a week later, I'm scrolling through YouTube shorts about brain health. And this doctor comes up talking about neurology, who sounded like a California surfer dude. So I kind of dismissed it. I swiped it up to go to the next video. But then I processed right then what he was saying, what I just heard. He was talking about mitochondria, the very thing that I was looking to fix inside of my brain. So I tried to swipe back and I hit the home button on accident. And obviously you can't go back if you're swiping. That took me 2 days to find out who this doctor was after not being able to get back to that video.
Sometimes mitochondria could be like an old car where it's producing way too much oxidation, and this would be like a dysfunctional mitochondria.
Meet Dr. John Lawrence. He is the guy from the video that I could not find. When I tracked him down on YouTube, he was talking about this stuff called methylene blue. And he was saying all this incredible stuff that made me think, if this stuff is so powerful, why don't we hear about it? Why did my doctor tell me about it? Why isn't everyone taking this? And I started hearing this unbelievable stuff about methylene blue. I genuinely can't believe. And it's literally a blue dye that was created in the 1800s to dye fabrics. I was hearing it was the magic bullet of medicine. In fact, I learned that the term magic bullet was first spoken in history to describe methylene blue, and it's been used to treat disease since about 1890. And if you look it up, you're going to really find out why they call it a magic bullet. But at this point, if you don't know what mitochondria are, let me give you a super basic rundown. So mitochondria are little microscopic power plants inside of every cell in your body, and they're responsible for generating electricity that fuels every single function of the body. And these little organelles are absolutely crucial to our health because they convert nutrients into ATP. This is the energy that powers everything in your body, from muscle movement to activity up in your brain. And almost every chronic disease, from like diabetes to neurodegenerative disorders, can trace its roots back to mitochondrial dysfunction. But mitochondria is also the beginning of health. All right, so let's go back to Dr. John Lawrence. I've been watching this guy on YouTube now daily to learn about the brain and methylene blue and melatonin and even red light therapy. And I decided to track him down. And we started texting a lot. I invited him to talk to my VIP clients that I coach every week about these incredible molecules. And then I just decided to go see Dr. John at his clinic in Sarasota. And I thank God that I did. It's the middle of August, and I'm supposed to have an appointment today with Dr. John Lawrence. It's taken a while to get an appointment. He sees a lot of people. And my appointment is in like 20 minutes. From right now, and I'm going to take you in there with me. I'm not sure what to expect. He is a chiropractor. He is a neurologist. He's got a lot of stuff under his belt, and he does some alternative approaches to brain stuff. We'll see what happens.
Just give me some history. How did this all start?
So this condition, as far as I know, started 2019, but I was sitting in front of my parents and I just blacked out for like a minute and a half. I had amnesia for that minute, and then I had another 100 more over the next year. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, so she knew that I had postgraduate certifications in neuroendocrinology and medical neuroscience and radiology and all this stuff. So she assumed
Wait.
that I would go see a doctor, but I didn't remember any of it.
Manifest RN. Have you heard of methylene blue? And do they not have that? Okay, so you're an RN, you're a registered nurse. Have you heard of methylene blue? I'm gonna keep playing this. Let me know if you've heard of it.
In 2022, I recorded it on video and I was able to watch it. And I said, I have temporal epilepsy. So I think maybe the origin of some of this is head trauma.
Yeah.
So I've done 9 deployments,
Okay.
explosions, all that kind of stuff. I don't have any front teeth in the top left. These are all fake.
Is the bridge straight across the midline?
I think so.
Broken nose. I can see your nose still.
A few times.
Right. So he's been in like explosions. He's missing his front teeth. I mean, a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? Because of the explosion knocked out all his teeth in the front. So he has fake teeth in the front. And even that, like, so you don't even understand how important your teeth are to your mind, your brain, right?
Right.
You understand?
Wow. Thanks.
So let's go.
So, how's your breathing through the nose? Does it feel restricted?
I can only breathe out of one nostril.
Which one?
This one here, the right side.
So this is what's really interesting. And I get into depth in my my endonasal book about like what happens because your parasympathetic nervous system is going to be more run by the right brain, right? So the left nostril is going to be more parasympathetic. So if you're not breathing and that air isn't going through there, you're not activating different systems that are going to keep your autonomic.
Man, would you mind coming up here and talking about this? Because I've heard that in the ER, they have it there if you're poisoned, you know what I'm saying? And then that it'll like absorb the poison. If you don't mind, I would love for you to come up and like just, but I know that, you know what? I know Mel has to go, so we'll probably have to come back and talk about this, but let me finish this whole thing.
My nervous system running.
And I got really seriously introduced to the proven power of red light therapy and how red light gets absorbed and then used by methylene blue in our bodies. And it's proven to help with everything from pain and inflammation to dementia and brain issues and even hair loss. And I'm actually embarrassed to say that I thought all this was fringe science. I really thought that. And I didn't think I'd find thousands of studies and a mountain of very serious research here. It's day 3. I just finished my second full day with Dr. John. And yesterday, obviously, as you saw, there's some amazing stuff. I just got a notification on my screen. My Uber is going to be here in 2 minutes. So I'll see you there. Let me give you a tiny sample of what I heard about methylene blue. It supercharges our brain's energy, our memory, our focus, our cognitive performance. And it doesn't just sharpen short and long-term memory, it also balances out your neurotransmitters. It can reduce depression and anxiety, which makes it a hugely powerful mood stabilizer. And it shields our cells from something called oxidative stress, which is the cause of disease. And it promotes overall health and life longevity, while it also boosts mitochondrial efficiency to increase our energy levels. But it didn't stop there. Methylene blue crosses the blood-brain barrier to give massive support to your neurons. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, and it's proven to protect against neurodegenerative conditions like mesial temporal sclerosis.
So let me just show you. Let me tell you something. The same thing methylene blue is blue anil. Blue anil, right? So all it is methylene blue. So methylene blue is the same thing, the actual root. So right, House of Hoodoo, right? Blue anil. So all it is the same thing that hold on, let me see. Blue anil. Hold on, blue anil. Yes. You see this? Blue anil is another way of referring to methylene blue. It is essentially the same dye. And all blue anil is, what's that color you said again, Melanie? Oh, crap. I'm sorry, y'all. My thing keep doing it. So I was showing y'all blue anil and methylene blue. So blue anil is the same thing as methylene blue. And what was that color you said that was? Melanie? Melanie, you there? Can you guys hear me? All right, so blue anil, okay. What is blue anil? All right, can you see my screen? What is blue anil? Can you see this? Blue anil. Oh, okay, you can see that.
I can see it.
What's the color again? What would you say it was?
Indigo.
Indigo, right? So indigo in Africa is used to dye different things. It's used to clean your house. It's used to like take a bath. It's used to make your whites whiter. So they're just, so you see it's all like, oh, this is a silver bullet. It's a medical like blah blah blah. But when you actually listen, when you actually like do some research, you will find out that Jamaicans, Haitians, they call it the blue bath. Haitian blue bath, Caribbean blue bath, Jamaican blue bath. Hold on. Right? So you have a person right here that's just like, okay.
The angels are talking to her, or the angel, she's coming square. This is made from indigo, but it's really used to whiten up your white clothes. But spiritually, we use this for cleansing. Now, it comes in little squares. I have it in little squares, but it also comes in balls, blue balls. When my children was very young, I used to give them the blue ball baths because I wasn't aware of the squares. But as the years went on, you see more squares, and that's blue balls. So I know for me, I carry the squares. Now, if you can't get to a Botanica to get your blue square, you can order it like this, and you can tell this is used, okay? Mrs. Stewart's liquid bluing. This is this, all right? But you can get this right from any place, like Walmart, maybe, Amazon, and it's actually tell you for the laundry how much to put in to whiten up your clothes.
So listen, borax, blue anil, all these things, they just are not just for laundry. listen, you could take borax and do a whole bunch of stuff with it, including take baths with it, including clean out your hoo-ha with it. You can put suppositories, all types of stuff. But these were like hoodoo, old school things that we used to do. Now they are just now figuring out, oh man, no, this is a magic bullet. But we've been doing this for longest, y'all. Taking blue baths. You put the lemon in there, you put the Florida water, a little bit of like, vinegar, whatever, and boom, you take a bath in it, and it. So first of all, what the blue, the methylene blue does is it clears out, it cleans the water. Do you know that most fish, when you actually are supposed to like clean out a fish tank, right? You put the fish into the methylene blue water, and it makes the water clean enough to be able to not kill the fish. Methylene blue, it kills fungus, it kills bacteria, it kills all type of stuff. So when so people have like figured out, oh, if you drink it, and we've been drinking it too. Like they'll tell you, certain people like, okay, well, drink it or whatever. Not like don't just be down in it, but of course, like a certain amount, you drink it, and it will actually, what they found out too, on top of that, is cure mitochondria. The doctors in the emergency room, yep, you're correct. In the emergency room, this is like what they use. If you poisoned yourself, they'll give you methylene blue, and the methylene blue will stop the poison from killing your body. Borax, all these different things that we've been using in this folk, they call it like hoodoo and African folk magic. Guess what we're finding out, y'all? All this stuff is science. Called it witchcraft, but guess what? The more that I'm finding out that all the witchcraft they say we've been doing is really science. And you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. Is there any last things you want to say before we like end this live? Because I want everybody to like, I don't want to simul stream while you're doing it. Shouts out to everybody who's been here. Mel, do you have words you want to say?
This was super, super dope. This really was, Genesis, and I definitely appreciate you, and I definitely thank you. And inviting us over here. Shout out to the 100 Tim's crew for coming through. I see y'all in the building. And this was dope. And if you want to do a part 2 of it, we could definitely come back and and do a deeper dive, because again, these topics, we can expound on them. You know what I'm saying? And we can definitely gain more knowledge and information. I love topics like this. I love topics that challenge us to think, and we get some good information and get some good nuggets out of it. So I definitely appreciate you. Well, honey, the next time we do a live, I want Manifest RN to come up here. And I want to find out what other things that we thought are just household items. I already know about baking soda. We already know baking soda is something. Right. Baking soda. And that's now I know about that because my mother is from the South. She old school, and they used to, before toothpaste and all that. Growing up in the deep South, they brush their teeth with baking soda. That's all they have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, baking soda. You can clean things off with it, all type of stuff. Coca-Cola. You can like actually clear off things with that, like clean things. But certain things have other properties and stuff like that. Some of our pharmaceuticals actually help with other things than just what they're meant for. Like I've actually been doing research on his NCIC thing. Mm-hmm. He was talking about how it's a blood pressure medication that actually is a good like psychological thing too. So I mean, like rather than you taking like the psychological medication, you like take it starts with an M. Wait, Metropolol. You can use that for other things other than Metropol. You talk about Metropolol. Metropolol. You can use that for like. I say Metropolol. My mother used to take that. That's how I know. But there is other like so some of the medications that we even use are like he was talking about even how. So you think even one medication be for one thing, but actually help for something else. So even if you don't have high blood pressure, so it's a lot of different things. So I want to like start to like have conversations about like this type of stuff, like really like
going in talking about psychology, talking about like health and things that we
Right, natural and kind of like natural remedies and wellness and things like that. That's super dope. That's super,
yeah, I think
super dope.
metoprolol helps with like depression. I'm not sure. He said that if you actually take it with something else, it will help with an herb. It'll help with depression. Clonidine is another one. See, I think he had that on there too. It'll help you with like your cycle, your sleep cycle, and then another thing is that other than what's it called so you have melatonin, you mix it with the methanol blue, that helps you. If the melatonin, you normally take it at a lower dosage. If you take it at a higher dosage, it actually does something else too. So I want to really get into these conversations and really talk about how to be more holistic in our health. I want to talk about how we can be more holistic in our minds. I mean, it's great to like talk about P. Diddy did this and did that.
Right.
How can we help ourselves?
How we help ourselves? Exactly. How can we help
Shouts
ourselves?
out,
Especially if things, go left or which, whichever way, if we don't have access to certain things, sometimes things in our own homes, we can like, do alternatives and things like that. So that's a super dope conversation. I definitely, I reach out to Manifest and see, because, especially with our schedule and stuff to see if she's able to come up and stuff. But of course, Genesis, you already know we're going to chop it up anyway. We'll, we'll be talking and stuff. But this was
great. I appreciate
really cool.
you for coming up here. Thank you for coming up here and sharing the live. And you stayed way longer than you was supposed to.
Thank you kindly.
I'm gonna share the love and come over there and talk about academics.
Thank you,
everybody. If you're in my live, go ahead and go to Melanie's live and check out her thing about academics. Start growing your own vegetables. Yes, indeed. But we need to figure out how, because I tried to grow some stuff. I don't know what it was going on.
I'm supposed to be looking into that to see how you can grow them inside. Like, because again, in New York City, we don't have a lot of, in the city, we don't have a lot of farmland and space and things like that. So we have to learn how to grow things indoors. So I'm actually looking into that as well.
All that stuff like that. So
yeah. But I appreciate you, Genesis, and I thank you so much. And I apologize on behalf of the weirdo trolls, but I thank you for inviting me and extending the invitation. And you never switched up on me, never changed up on me, so I appreciate that.
Oh, much love, much love. Shouts out to Manifest. Hope to see you in the next live. No grass. Yeah, listen.
Leave us alone. We got grass. It's just underneath the concrete.
But listen, if you see what I got growing, I don't know what the hell it is. Something growing about it. But much love. I'm gonna end this because I know you got to get over to your thing. It's 4:50.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And y'all head on over. Y'all check my community wall, and I'll put the link on the community wall. And then all are welcome. Y'all cool. We could rock out and get on academics real quick.
All right, shouts out, peace.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you.
Alchemize your energy, darling. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.